Chapter 401 The Surrounding Wall Where. Looking at the overall situation, Whitebeard is his responsibility as a general. Ordinary pirates only need to fight, kill the navy blocking in front of them, and then rush forward. They can focus their eyes on the inch of their battle. But Whitebeard can't, he has to consider this battle situation. So he didn't move out at first, but stood on the Moby Dick and watched. Waring states, "What the hell are you trying to do?" He sensed something was wrong, and an instinctive uneasiness rose from his heart. But he also had no insight into the Navy's conspiracy, because the information was asymmetrical. When the Navy all evacuated and returned to the square, the surrounding wall remained silent for a while. "What's the matter? Why hasn't the surrounding wall been activated?" Report, "Because the glaciers on both sides are too thick. So lack of power. It doesn't matter if all the energy is supplied to this, even if the rest of the system in the entire town is completely paralyzed." Waring states made a decisive decision. "Yes. Lala, it's a headache now. It's all your fault, you didn't activate the surrounding wall," Aokiji said. "Akainu is in charge of the battle to surround the wall." Akainu said with some dissatisfaction, "It's not because of your ice." Kizaru said, "Oh, you go and melt it down soon." Sakazuki. "Is it really just a lack of power?" Anil's mouth curled into a smile as he hovered in the sky with his black wings with azure lines. Since he knew the deployment of the Navy, how could it be possible for them to launch successfully? Letting the Navy and the Whitebeard pirates fight, the more intense the battle, the better in his interests. The Navy itself will have the advantage. If their plan is successful, then the battle may be one-sided. Anil didn't want to see such a thing, so he made arrangements early. In the power room, Lafayette put away the bloody sword. He had the ability to fly, hurried at full speed, and arrived at the naval headquarters early. Once you find the control room, kill the guy who gets in your way and leave a Navy hypnotist. Insufficient power is just a reason to delay the time by perfunctory naval signal soldiers sent by the warring states. When it was delayed until the pirates invaded the square, even if the Navy noticed something was wrong, it was too late. "Done, Captain," Lafayette said to a miniphone bug in his hand. "It's hard work for you, let's retreat now. As long as you can hold them back for a while, that's enough. It's too dangerous there." "Understood." Suddenly, a sense of crisis came from behind, and Lafayette hurriedly stabbed behind him with a crutch. Clang! Hosumi collided with a thick dagger. An unexpected look appeared on Lafayette's pale face. "Oh, the Navy pays so much attention to this place, and even sent a major admiral here." "No, I was just wandering around and happened to come across it." "Lafayette, what's wrong?" the phone bug asked. "Had a little accident, a rear admiral. I'm afraid I can't leave right away, or this place will soon be under the control of the Navy again." "Then you pay attention to safety." This voice, it's Enel. "Aren't you a member of the Blackbeard pirates? Did you betray? Or did Blackbeard belong to that guy?" the rear admiral said in surprise. "Huh." Enel raised his brows. He was definitely familiar with the Navy's voice. "I remember. Isn't this the scumbag teammate next to Garp? Ace should be considered your younger brother. Why do you want him to be executed so much?" Enel did not remember her name. Dolores took a deep breath. She was now able to control her emotions well when facing Anil. "Who said I was going to open the surrounding wall? I just wanted to kill your subordinate. Also, my name is Dolores." Dolores sided with her family in the choice between the Navy and her family. She originally wanted to stop the surrounding wall by herself in order to save Ace. Even if she became a sinner of the Navy, she had already made plans to defect from the Navy. But Lafayette did what she wanted to do one step ahead. Then she doesn't need to leave the Navy, but she left the battlefield without authorization before the war, and a charge of escaping a battle is indispensable. When she saw the pirates, she had to go up and make a show anyway, proving that she was also serious about fighting. However, it was unexpectedly discovered that Lafayette was Anil's subordinate, so it was not just pretending, and if Anil could not be killed, then try to attack his forces as much as possible. There is no conflict between dealing with Enel's men and saving Ace, as long as the surrounding wall cannot be activated. Ah, then come on Lafayette, you can play with her. If you can kill it, don't keep it. The phone worm tilted its head and disconnected. I didn't expect you to know the captain. There seems to be a lot of stories between you. Ah, I've been thinking about him all the time, thinking that I can't wait to drink his blood and eat his flesh. Hypnotized, it seems that you also did the door of justice. She glanced at the confused expression, as if to mention line puppet like naval soldiers. That's right, but that was an order from Captain Titch, who seemed to be doing the Straw Hat a favor unintentionally. Captain Titch, Dolores wondered. Oh, by the way, you don't know yet, right? Titch is not Enel's subordinate. The Blackbeard pirates I originally belonged to no longer exists. Huh. Tiki lost to Neil. He died. The winner can get everything. This is the rule of the sea. Of course I will not hold on to the past and let go. The winner is worthy of my allegiance. So you switched to Enel. That's right, so I'm now a member of the Enel Pirates. Haha, the winner can do whatever they want, and the weak and the loser are ruthlessly abandoned. This is in line with the behavior of you scumbags at sea. Dolores sneered. The behavior of scum? No, what we respect is nothing but the most primitive law that this world has already set. Above this sea, the biggest rule is that there are no rules. Strength determines everything. In fact, from a certain extent, it is also true in your navy. Lafayette did not get angry at all. Ah, it's useless to talk about it. Die. The knife slashed down, like a mountain pressing down, and the heavy momentum was suffocating. I won't show mercy. The captain gave me an order to kill you. Boom. A crisp sound echoed in the control room, and the rapier stabbed the blade, changing the trajectory of the heavy blow. Kuo Dao suddenly changed direction and swiped to the left. Lafayette stepped back and stabbed Dolores's neck with the rapier. Neither of them wanted the Navy to notice it so quickly, so they tacitly did not use some large-scale tricks. The movement is small, but the attack is fierce and the move is deadly. Chapter 402 Rush to the Square. Jinbei, look, the Navy doesn't know when all of them will be on the square. Ivankov pointed to the front. Yeah, I have a bad feeling, but it's too late to think about it. A group of them escorted Luffy around, cleared the way for him, and helped him rush to the execution platform. I'm more concerned about that guy Neil, although he doesn't know much, but he should not be the kind of reckless person. If he can make a move, it proves that he has great confidence. I don't know what he is planning. Quote. Jinpei, don't think so much. Isn't he also dealing with the Navy? At least temporarily we can join forces with him. This is a good thing. With his ability to contain the Navy, our pressure will be much less. Ivankov, when I mentioned Enel, I couldn't help shivering. In the past, he was sent by Drago to negotiate with Enel, but the other party beat him into a pig head without saying a word. I hope so. It's better not to take it lightly. Jinbei was very afraid of Neil. Enel has always done things in an irregular manner, often running east and west, as if aimlessly. But in the end, what he did came together, but he was able to gather a huge network of forces, which brought him great benefits. He is still skeptical about Enel's proposal to marry Mermaid Island 8 years ago. Jinbei intuitively thought that Enel might be the power that coveted Shirahoshi as Aquaman. But at that time, Bai Xing didn't show this at all. It was not until after the engagement was made, that Otoji was attacked and they realized that Bai Xing was Neptune. If they go back on their marriage contract, morally speaking, they will not be able to stand. There is no justice in this world, but there is justice. Many people, especially pirates who talk about friendship, are very concerned about this. Rationally, it should be impossible for Enel to realize that Shirato is Neptune earlier than Nipton and Otahime. But his move, which seemed to be just to promote unity between him and the merman, would in a sense take control of Aquaman. So at this time, even if Enel seemed to be on the same side as their Whitebeard pirates and dealt with the Navy together, Jinpei still didn't dare to trust him. The Navy is indeed a great threat to Enel, but their threat to him from the Whitebeard pirates is not that small. Damn, the pirates are rushing over. Oops. Fire, fire, don't stop. Try to delay their footsteps. Is the surrounding wall still there? I'll stop them. Giant Lieutenant General John jumped into the bay. I will never let you on the plaza, Whitebeard pirates. The huge sword cut a crack on the ice, and he was like a mountain, blocking the way of the Whitebeard pirates. Don't even think about getting through here. He raised the tachi high above his head and slashed at Whitebeard. Don't get in the way. Whitebeard blocked John's attack with just one hand. Generally speaking, the strength of human beings is not comparable to that of giants. Even those human lieutenants are inferior in the most primitive power. They were able to defeat giants because their skills allowed them to burst out with great attack power. But Whitebeard is an out-and-out monster. Whitebeard threw away the big knife, grabbed the air with both hands, like pulling glass, and pulled out a few scratches in the air. Rumbling, rumbling. Earth-shaking. The sea, and the whole of Malenford, tilted, as if it were about to be turned over. Countless buildings shattered, collapsed and then fell into ruins. It seems that the end of the world is here at this moment. Wow lala, I'm going to die, I am going to die. The sea is going to be overturned. Herring screamed strangely, hugging her flaming thigh. Is this the battle of the strongest pirates? Caroline looked dull. Earthquake, what a terrifying power. Luhuo is an air islander, and it is the first time she has seen the power of this, Earth. On the Chambord Islands, reporters gasped in shock. A woman covered her mouth. It's terrible, is this world going to perish? Kid and other supernovae mixed in the crowd stared at the screen with a look of shock. Hey, is this the power of the Emperor of the Sea? 4 emperors' well-deserved reputation. Ha 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 ha, that's interesting, isn't it? Kid said wildly. In the sea near Malenford, a small boat was overturned by huge waves. The silver-haired old man with a long sword on his back looked into the distance. He muttered in his mouth, the guy with the white beard is still messing around as always. Ha ha ha, can you only swim past it? Ah, it's really unpleasant. It made people soaked all over. Beside him, a woman was holding a cigarette in her mouth. Surprisingly, the cigarette was still sparking and was not splashed by water at all. Ha ha ha, Shachi, I told you not to follow me. Really, if I don't come, who will collect the corpse for you if you die? Strict, Shachi, huh? Rayleigh suddenly looked up at the sky in the distance, where a black spot was slowly moving towards here. What's wrong, Rayleigh? Shachi asked. Ah, it's quite lively, an acquaintance is coming over. Acquaintances. Shachi looked at the little dot in the sky, and then showed a sudden look. The pirates took advantage of the ground to lean towards the execution platform and rushed forward. Just like going downhill, running fast. In front of Whitebeard, Lieutenant General John of the Giants couldn't even delay. With just one punch, he was seriously injured and fell to the ground. I am sorry, is it too late for the encircling wall? Sengoku looked gloomy as he looked at the navy who fell to the ground in a chaotic formation because they were unprepared. Come on, just jump straight to the square. Ace, here we come. That's it. With a loud bang, a huge crack appeared in the ice. Several pirates who did not stop in time fell into the sea. What's the matter? Who? I will never let you go one step further. At this juncture, Garp chose justice and stood in front of the pirates. Enel's blow just now didn't cause him too serious injury. Garp was just caught off guard. After he was beaten, in order to make the plan of the warring states go more smoothly, he deliberately lay still, which lowered the morale of the navy. The tacit understanding over the years made Sengoku immediately understand Garp's intentions, and gave the order to retreat at the right time. But where did the surrounding walls go? Damn it, Garp. It's hard to do now. Don't take people so seriously. Garp, do you think I'm a hobby? Enel moved and rushed towards Garp. What awaits him is Garp's powerful counterattack. Boom. He was sent flying with a punch and rolled a long way on the ice before stopping. This is for you, brat. Garp gave a smile. Oh, so it is. Did you take the initiative to lure me down because you found that aerial combat was not good? Anil wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. Boom, boom, boom. The two of them fought. Punches and kicks were unpretentious, but they made a muffled sound when they hit them, and when they stepped on the ground, large holes appeared in the ice. Even the entire ice layer showed signs of being unsupported, and cracks spread one after another. Let's charge now while Garp is being held back. Joes shouted. Come on. Do you have to find the latest chapter when reading a book? You are out. WeChat follow the beauty editor helps you find books. It's really not wrong to read books and flirt with girls. Chapter 403 Intrude. Isn't the surrounding wall ready yet? It looks like it's too late. Akainu, let's get started. I see. Akainu nodded. Sparks appeared in his hands, and soon became red. Billowing smoke rose into the sky and lava flowed. His hands turned into magma, the fiery breath rendered the air, and the scorching breath rose. The firelight printed everything around it red. He raised his hands high, aiming at the sky. Meteor volcano. Volcanic bombs shot into the sky and disappeared into the clouds. The pirates looked up at the sky in puzzlement, and soon their expressions changed from puzzle to panic. Countless huge lava fists fell like raindrops, and the whole sky was burned red. Run! It's a volcanic bomb. Not good. Boom, boom, boom. The lava fell with a deafening roar. Those who were hit were all dead in that high temperature. Just rubbed a little, it is possible to melt off half of the body. Damn Akainu. Anyway, leave a corpse. Enel glanced at the sky unhappily. Don't look around while fighting. Garp punched him in the chest. With a crisp click, Enel broke several bones. He stood up casually. The corners of Garp's eyes twitched. This kind of resilience is far from being as simple as the awakening of ordinary animal systems. As long as it is not fatally injured, it usually recovers within a few seconds, and it is almost catching up with the phoenix. And the body is very hard, like a turtle shell. This makes it extremely difficult for Garp to fight, and he needs to beware of the opponent's attack, but Anil seems to be unable to kill. But fortunately, Anil has nothing to highlight in terms of attack, except for his strength. Combat skills may be acceptable for a major general's level, but in front of him it's like a child playing at home. No threat to Garp. Looking at the mourning of their companions, the pirates who were lucky enough to escape the volcanic bomb showed a trace of fear. They are not afraid of death, but they are afraid of dying so cruelly. However, the impact of Akainu's attack has not stopped. Fire, fire, the whole world is fire. As if the sea was burning, a piece of red. The high temperature melted the ice and made the sea boil. Damn, there's no footing left. It's hot. It's hot. Help, the pirates screamed. Seeing the tragic state of the Whitebeard pirates, Ace hit his head on the ground in pain. Shed tears of remorse. It's all my fault. It's all my fault that I didn't listen to my father's advice. Lahahaha, Whitebeard will die, Anil will die, you will die, neither of you will survive. Zero laughed, his laughter only heard by him and Ace. One place, that range, as if it was truncated by something. Tears flashed in Bonnie's eyes as she watched the battle in front of the screen. Damn guys, Dad. Sure enough, even the Whitebeard pirates are not a match for the Navy, Kira said. Is this the end? The strongest pirate group will also end here. Becky smoked a cigar. Ha 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 ha, don't make a decision easily until the last moment. The good drama is still to come. I don't think the war will end so easily. Kid's eyes showed a light called ambition. What's going on in the power room? Why hasn't the surrounding wall been opened even after the ice has melted? Sengoku shouted. Some pirates have already climbed down from the walls and entered the square. Report an enemy invasion. What? Major General Dolores is fighting him. Who? It's Lafayette from the Blackbeard pirates. Hurry up and send someone to support. Be sure to open the surrounding wall before the pirates enter the square on a large scale. Yes. Wow wow, hot, so hot, shouted the herring swimming into the bay. Lu Huo, who was wearing a skate shoe-shaped tail, lifted her up. I already told you to practice how to use your tail, now you're suffering. Herring looked at the blistered tail that had been scalded, patted his chest and said, "It's very dangerous, it's almost boiled fish." "Ha ha ha, isn't it a fire for you?" "Flowing fire." She threw the herring on her back. "Hold tight, I don't care if it falls." "Okay, okay," Herring nodded. Cloud Road. A 1-meter wide cloud road spreads around along the stream fire. She shouted at the pirates, "Catch it. I'll go up from you." "Oh thanks." "Haha little brother, you can do it." Bro. Lu Huo's face turned black. PFF'd, Herring covered her mouth. "That person is the priest of the Sky Island." Luffy was standing on a piece of ice that had not yet melted, and turned to look at Lu Huo in surprise. Lu Huo also seemed to notice Luffy's gaze and nodded at him. "Brother Luffy, don't be in a daze, the ice cubes can't hold on anymore." Jinbei shouted. "Oh got it." He stretched out his hand to grab a cloud road and rushed towards the square as the cloud road spread. Jinbei and Ivankov were on his shoulders. "What's the matter, Straw Hat Boy, do you know her?" "I'm the priest of the Sky Island now, it should be Enel's partner." "I know you've been really helpful now. Come up. Despicable Navy, let you see how good we are. Go on, don't hold back, save Ace." The pirates rushed into the square with the help of the fire. "Bastard, did the battle to surround the wall fail?" Sengoku scolded in a low voice. Whitebeard nodded to Lu Huo, "Thanks little girl, it's really helpful." "Ah, it's nothing. Be careful not to be caught by me during the battle, otherwise I'll cut off your head without hesitation." "We're not friends," Liu Huo said. Shish. Herring made a booing gesture, but didn't stop Lu Huo from finishing his words. She burst into tears. Huo, why are you provoking that monster when you have nothing to do? Whitebeard is even scarier than a ghost. She is not from Sky Island and has heard the legend of Whitebeard. So what? His fruit is good, I liked it. Lu Huo didn't care. "Jiu la, are you going to take my head? If you can do it, just try it." Whitebeard laughed boldly, "Then I should go on next." The Navy, who noticed Whitebeard's movements, panicked. "Everyone's attention Whitebeard, it's time to act. Don't panic right now, we are going to crusade him here. In the name of absolute justice." "Oh. Whitebeard, are you finally going to make a move?" Enel turned back. Whitebeard, Garp and Sengoku both showed a solemn look. Chapter 404 Lightning and Thunder, Super Sniper 100 kilometers away. At this stage of the battle, the next step is a melee, and the tactical arrangement has no effect. Whitebeard invaded the square. "Stop him. Damn too strong, I can't do it at all. Don't hold back, he's just a man." Whitebeard rushed into the Navy, as if entering a land of no one, and every time he punched, the earth shattered. With every swing of the knife, the sky vibrates. The Navy was blasted into the air, and then fell like raindrops. Boom. "I can't let you do whatever you want anymore." Akainu stepped on Whitebeard's broadsword. HMPH Magma Kid, the fireworks just now were exaggerated. "Whitebeard, don't you like fancy funerals? At this time there is no need to keep the power. Little ones, all attack." Whitebeard shouted. "Oh, I've been waiting impatiently for a long time. Dad, is it time for us to play?" A huge pirate ship emerged from the bay. "It's the foreign ship number coming. Everyone, rush, capture the Navy headquarters." "What? There is actually a ship lurking on the seabed." Warring State's pupils shrank. "I didn't say I only have these few ships," Whitebeard smiled. "Your time has passed, so you should worry about the enemy in front of you first." Fire breathing. The hot lava attacked Whitebeard. "You're still a long way off, Magma Kid." Boom. The shock bounced off the magma, and the two fought together. Just a fight, Akainu felt a huge pressure. For the past 8 years, Enel has been selling to the Whitebeard pirates the life-enriching wine made by Caesar using the crystals of life from the Kars flax tree and the healing power of Mancheri's fruit. Greatly slowed down the deterioration of Whitebeard's condition. In addition, because of his intervention, Squid's knife did not stab Whitebeard. The Whitebeard at this time is much stronger than the seriously ill and seriously injured state in the original book. In the battle with Akainu, he has the upper hand. Its terrifying Sakazuki was actually suppressed since the opponent is a pirate, then there should be no problem with the siege. Kizaru also joined the battle. "Daddy," Marco yelled. "Oh, you don't have time to look around, don't take me seriously." T-Dolphin entangled Marco. Joe's also needs to face the Peach Rabbit and can't get away. View. A laser penetrated Whitebeard's abdomen from behind. Kazuna, Whitebeard covered the wound, blood dripping from the corner of his mouth. "That's it, rodent Red Lotus." Akainu seized this opportunity to attack. "Fuck me, I'm a Whitebeard." He raised his machete and met Akainu's attack. The blade wrapped in white light and domineering split the magma, making a hole in Akainu's chest. Blood flowed out, mixed with the red magma, and it was unclear whether it was blood or lava. Akainu is a ruthless person, ruthless to others, and even more ruthless to himself. Even if you are injured, you have to bite off a piece of meat from your opponent. He is a model of the jagged soldier. In troubled times, use a heavy code. In this era of great pirates, perhaps his style is more suitable for the Navy. When facing pirates, he will never show mercy, he is more like a mad dog than Garp. Enel was just afraid of him, so he kept taking care not to confront him. Even now, he doesn't want to go head-to-head with Akainu. Yet though the wound Whitebeard cut on his chest didn't push him back, instead it made his attack even more severe. The other hand condensed a lava dog head again and bit towards Whitebeard. Whitebeard blocked this move with his arm, and even though he had covered his armed arrogance, he was still scalded. Akainu's ability is magma, which is extremely erosive. The high temperature and the impact of the volcanic eruption made his attack very dangerous. Boom, boom, boom. After a few fights, he was knocked away by Whitebeard's punch. Before flying out, he also kicked the opponent. Both vomited blood at the same time. Before Whitebeard could recover from his injury, Kizaru's voice came from his ear. "I got the chance kick at the speed of light." Boom. A thunderbolt fell from the sky, shattering Kizaru's figure. "Lay is that guy again, it's a headache now." Kizaru put on an ugly, bitter face. He was really in trouble, and he was able to remain so graceful on the battlefield, mainly because of his ability to escape at any time. And Milo could keep up with his speed. If he is still as careless as before, as long as he gets in the way at a critical moment, he will be out of luck. What's more tricky is that he still hasn't figured out where the attack came from. Lightning. It seems that a remarkable ability has appeared. Zero looked up at the sky. Where did the attack come from? Warring States looked solemn. At this time, the Whitebeard pirates were even more confused, the Thunder Fruit. They don't remember one of them with this ability. Warring States. Crane looked at the Warring States. "I see." The latter nodded. Kizaru's information shows that Milo is with Shiji. Since he has taken action, will Shiji still be far away? In fact, they were all wrong. Milo shot, but he was still far away, and it was true that Ski was not far. On the sea 100 kilometers away from Marineford, the proverbs undulated in the waves. Milo sat in the chair, yawning. It's really boring, let's play with the Navy first." Anil gave him the task of intercepting any red hair that might appear. Leaving once said to let him preserve his physical strength as much as possible, but how could Milo be completely obedient? Unable to be idle, he began to shoot black guns at the Navy. Black flash, and white thunder, pointed to the sky, emitting a blue light, and thunder arcs jumped at the muzzle. Bu tilde bu tilde bu tilde. The blue bullet traced a straight trajectory in the air. Fly into the clouds over Marineford, and then fall into lightning. Boom, boom, boom. A deafening sound rang out, and the earth trembled under the impact of the thunder. It's a lightning strike. Damn, can you find the trace of the other party? There's no way, I don't know where the opponent attacked from. Milo's maximum range is exactly 100 kilometers, and at such a distance, his attack power is halved. The trade-off was to make his position almost imperceptible to his enemies. Everyone's focus will be slightly different. Luffy focuses on perceiving people's hearts. Milo and Anilu focus on the detection range. Flaming Fire and Zero's seeing and hearing colors hide and block others' perceptions, while Enel is combined with his ability to form a sense of vitality special sight color. Milo is a natural domineering awakener of knowledge, and he focuses on the perception range. With more than 10 years of training and the increase of the Thunder Fruit, the coverage of his knowledge has reached a very terrifying level. In terms of range, almost no one can match him. Are you kidding me? Can't you be sure of his whereabouts yet? Sengoku looked gloomy as he looked at the Navy soldiers who kept falling amidst the raging thunder. There's no way that guy, I'm afraid it's very far away from this island. Zero spreads out his hands helplessly, he can't fight. The attack power of those thunderbolts is not strong. Even a lieutenant general can easily deal with them, but for the Navy at the grassroots level, it is a huge threat. Chapter 405 I have a white beard. Milo, this guy, can't stand it anymore. Aina looked up at the roaring thunder. With such a long distance, and the crowded people in the square, Milo couldn't just fight the Navy. Many pirates were also involved. Bastard, who the hell is that guy? Can't you aim just a little bit? Wow, didn't Milo say he has a mission? How did he get involved here? Herring lay on Lu Huo's back. Who knows? Maybe it's just that he thinks it's too boring over there. And should you go down? Lu Huo said. I don't want it. The fiery warm and soft back, the fiery red flowing hair rubbing against people's faces, it's so comfortable and it smells good, I don't want to leave. Herring looked infatuated. Lu Huo threw her aside with a dark face. Wow, Herring screamed, bounced a few times on the ground and fell into the bay. It's not the way to go on like this. Let's get rid of Whitebeard early and end the battle. If the Whitebeard pirates are over, the matter will be over. Kizaru raised a rare fighting spirit. 8th Changgu Jade. The dazzling beam burst, like countless sharp arrows shooting at Whitebeard. Beautiful and gorgeous with fierce murderous intent. Big fire. Akainu also launched a fierce offensive following Kayabu's attack. No one can maintain the advantage under the combination of the two generals. Even as strong as Whitebeard has fallen into a very passive situation. What's even more troublesome is that both of them are natural types. If they don't add domineering to their attacks, then they can use tricks recklessly without worrying about hurting their own people. And Whitebeard is not from the nature department. Whether it is light beam or magma, there is a strong threat to him. A sharp anomaly, if you are not careful, it will be penetrated through the body. The other has a huge attack range and strong erosion ability, and it is even more serious when it is hit. Red, yellow, white light intertwined. The earth quaked, the waves rolled, and the clouds surged. Boom, boom, boom. The deafening sound kept coming. There was a sound of explosions. After being scattered by the shock, Kizaru gathered again, with a puzzled look on his face. Strange, the high-level combat power of the pirates should have been restrained. Where is that guy Kuzan? Could it be that the paddling? This is unbearable. Someone actually paddled harder than me. Forget about Mr. Waring states. He is the head coach, so he just watched from the sidelines. But Aoki, no. I have to ask for a raise. At this moment, Aokiji was staring at Carter in a corner of the square. Yo, we meet again, Carter greeted. Alas, there is a troublesome guy. It was a pleasure to eat last time. Would you like to treat me to another meal? It was good that Carter didn't mention it, but Aokiji's face darkened when he mentioned that. The organization ultimately did not reimburse him, and Carter ate his 1 month's salary. Get out of the way. Do you think I'll let it? Carter waved his short legs. There's no other way, I can only fight. Chingzi's face was solemn. He'd played Carter, and he knew how good it was. Everyone else around was full of greetings. What do you mean by a long-term confrontation with a cat that seems to be overnourished? This shows that you are not serious. Soon, they changed their minds. Aokiji was knocked back by a punch shortly after the fight with Carter. General Aokiji was actually beaten back by that cat. Bucky held the phone bug and faithfully recorded this scene. Hey Captain Bucky, isn't this the cat we met on the warship? I didn't expect it to be so powerful. Why don't you tame it as a pet? Yes, Captain Bucky, such a powerful pet will definitely help you to become the Pirate King. Yes. Want to hit Carter's idea if he really dares to put in practice. Enel will let them know why the flowers are so red. Dolores and the Urhamin who were exterminated on Black Moon Island are the best examples. But Bucky was already taken aback. Bucky's heart was bitter, but he couldn't say it, and the sadness flowed into a river. Why do you keep trying to bake me on the rack? In that kind of battle, mixing in is simply courting death. Hold on, don't panic. Then cheat. Cough, how can I get it to return to my heart now? Of course, I have to save it when it is cornered in order to gain its allegiance. Bucky said nonsense in a serious manner. Oh, as expected of Captain Bucky. You really have foresight. The brainless fans were moved to tears. That cat doesn't seem to need your help, Mr. 3 said. If you don't speak, no one will treat you as dead. Bucky looked annoyed after being exposed. Although Milo used thunder to harass Akainu and Kizaru from time to time, his power was greatly reduced when he came from such a distance. When they are prepared, they can play a very limited role. After an accident, Whitebeard finally punched Akainu again. There was a severe burn on the abdomen. The magma adhered to him, and thick smoke came out, as if setting him on fire. It looks like you are no match for the year's Whitebeard. Vase suffered. Vista, who was fighting with Hawkeye, showed an anxious look on his face. Dad is in danger. Marco and Joes can't get away either. It looks like your Whitebeard pirates are about to end. Hawkeye glanced over there. Don't be stunned, go and take off Whitebeard's head. Sengoku shouted. The Navy surrounded Whitebeard like a pack of wolves. Countless bullets, shells, and swords greeted him. Dad, the pirates shouted anxiously. I want to support in the past. Don't come here, Whitebeard shouted, panting heavily. They thought they could kill me in a few seconds. I don't need help because I'm a Whitebeard. Whitebeard pulled out a knife stuck in his waist. The long knife swept across, the shock formed a white circle, and the overwhelming force surged, shaking all the surrounding Marines away. Even Akainu was spitting blood back from this blow. Before he started, Kizaru felt a little bad, and got out of the way early. Strange monster, the Navy backed away in horror. I know very well what my death will mean, so, if I don't see a bright future for my sons I won't die, right, Ace? Whitebeard's wound was bleeding profusely, his left hand was covering his abdomen, and the large knife held in his right hand was propped up against the ground. His vision was blurred, and if it wasn't for the hilt holding him up, he probably wouldn't be able to stand still. However, he can't fall. If I fall down now then Ace is finished. The sons who came with him will not see the sun tomorrow. Although there is no blood relationship, the feelings and fetters are no different from real relatives. This is the family he has always guarded, and the most nostalgic thing in this sea. So no matter what, he can't fall. No matter how blurred the consciousness is, no matter how serious the injury is, I can't fall down. Even if the wound's all over the body, even if the blood is dry. He's Whitebeard, the father of everyone else in the pirates. He must not, and will not fall, until he has raised a piece of the sky for his sons. Chapter 406 Ski Admission. Hey, the legend is about to end. Anal, what's your plan? If you don't do anything, wait until the Whitebeard pirates are defeated, and you will be in danger too. Doflamingo sits on a stone pillar that fell from a collapsed building. He has begun to blatantly play soy sauce. It's alright. Whitebeard won't die for the time being. Please look forward to my gorgeous performance. Hum. Enel chuckled. I said, don't look around during the battle. Garp smashed Enel's head into the ground with a punch. Doflamingo, do you have any conspiracy? Conspiracy, us? No, I'm just watching a play. Young at the crossroads of this era, let's see where the future is heading. Carp, don't you understand? You can't kill me. No matter if I make a mistake in the battle or I'm in a daze, you can't kill me. This is the truth you still don't understand until now. Even if I stand here and let you fight for a day, you may not be able to do anything to me. Anil stood up from the pit. This is the result of his constant pursuit of survivability. Anil's high defense is terrifying, and his resilience is terrifying. Garp's punch was only a little injured, and he couldn't damage his body in a large area, so it was almost impossible to take Anil. Akainu and Sengoku are the last thing Anil wants in the Navy right now. Akainu magma attack power is enough to break his defense, and the damage area is large. The same is true of the Sengoku punch in the form of a giant Buddha. If you face them and fight hard every time, your body's recovery speed may not be able to keep up with the speed of injury. Your resilience requires stamina, then use up your stamina and kill you again. Boom. Garp stomped on the ground and charged towards Anil. Exhausting my stamina, I'm afraid you won't be able to last until then. Boom. The fists collided, and the powerful force pressed the air, forming a shock wave-like air wave. The air screeched loudly under this force. Doflamingo stepped back. Two monsters. This is Malinfado. The battlefield is full of corpses and blood flows into rivers. Between the mountains of corpses and the sea of blood, a stalwart figure stands there. Who is it? Used to be Roger's crew, and the red-haired big pirate brother Bucky the Clown. Enough of you. People in the Chambord Islands who had been informed of the battle via video call bugs are now full of anger. They have been watching the red nose for over half an hour. Crack. No, I just messed up my hair at that angle. Do it again. Crack. No, Lao Tzu's style should be a little more domineering. Come again. Captain Bucky, you have a nosebleed. Bucky was so excited that he had a nosebleed because he was about to become famous all over the world. Bastard, hurry up and cover the phone bugs. Be smart. Audience. Caroline. She was also drunk. Anil's order for her was to broadcast the Navy's defeat, and now the Navy had the upper hand, so she turned the phone bugs away. As for Bucky, well, the live broadcast of this guy in the war-torn Navy headquarters surprised her too. But it doesn't conflict with Anil's order. He can live broadcast if he wants. It's okay to let him show during this time. Hey, don't you think it's weird? Drake said. Huh. On this screen, almost all the conspiracy of the Navy and the situation of their defeat, if it's normal once or twice, but it's always like this. This is very strange. Kid's pupils shrank, speaking of which it seems so. And after the invasion of the harbor, this kind of funny video has been published. Will the Navy not cut off the phone line? This will make the Navy among the people. Ratings have dropped. Quote. It's not just the Navy headquarters that was attacked. I'm afraid even the naval base here has been controlled. The purpose of the Whitebeard pirates is to rescue Fire Fist Ace. What? The strange Munkaruki thought to himself. I have a bold idea. Could it be someone wants to attack the Navy headquarters and take this opportunity to directly overwhelm the entire Navy? Apu put his arms around his crew's neck. Please stop joking, Mr. Arp. How is this possible? It seems that there is indeed a possibility. Hawkins held the card. The victory rate of the Navy headquarters is 30%. Even Hawkins, who has always been calm, could not maintain the expressionless state on his face. You mean Whitebeard will win? Bonnie's face beamed with joy. It's not the win rate of the Whitebeard pirates. I can't calculate it. It's very vague. In other words, there is a high possibility that other forces will interfere. Kid was suddenly ready to leave. Kid. Kira looked puzzled. Go, what can I see here? I've had enough of that funny video. Let's go to Marineford. After thinking for a while, Drake made the same plan. Hawkins estimated the danger, then got up and left. The 10 supernova pirate captains all made the same plan. They are not going to fight, they are going to watch the battle, to watch the final outcome of the battle of destiny that will determine the direction of the world. Whitebeard is standing in the square with his sons behind him. They spontaneously surround behind Whitebeard. You won't understand. We are family. Defend the glory of the Whitebeard pirates. Sengoku's face was moved, and this kind of cohesion was shocking no matter how many times I watched it. Since you want to see your son's future, let you see enough. Execution. The executioner raised his spear. Ace closed his eyes resignedly. At this critical moment, Luffy yelled, "Stop!" Invisible coercion spread around him, centered on him. Like a storm sweeping all over the place. Everyone looked in his direction in unison. This overlord is domineering. Ivankov looked at Luffy in shock. When did you acquire this power? He thought in his heart, is he really the son of a dragon? No wonder there is a power to respond. That kid inspired it unconsciously. Shinzi was surprised. Meow. He has it too. Even Anal woke up not long ago. Luffy is also very good. Carter tilted the cat's head. Sure enough, it's innate. Carp looked worried. In this case, Luffy exposed the aptitude of the tyrant, which made him a target. He is the son of the dragon. It is only natural to have this kind of aptitude. The crusade against the Straw Hat today, the son of Roger, and the son of the dragon, the two seeds of evil, will be strangled here. Akainu shouted. Boy, if you also inherited D.S. will, let me see that this is the future of the era. Whitebeard suddenly shouted. Little guys cover Straw Hat Luffy. Ah, the Straw Hat boy is not bad. The form has changed a lot, and Whitebeard can still make a decision to cover his progress. Neil was a little surprised. Gia ha 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 ha. A loud laugh suddenly came from the air. Whitebeard, it's been a long time. You actually look so embarrassed. I'm really surprised. The golden lion floated in the air, with long hair flying. Everyone's attention was focused on Luffy just now, so they didn't notice him approaching. Ski, you kid, you shouldn't come here to laugh at me, Whitebeard said in a deep voice. HMPH, I don't have that kind of mind. Ski had a smile on his face. Warring State's face has become very dignified, and his palms are full of sweat. She, what are you doing now? Do you have to find the latest chapters when reading books? You are out. WeChat, follow the beauty editor helps you find books. It's really not wrong to read books and flirt with girls. Chapter 407, Carp is injured. What am I doing here? Gia ha 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 ha. Warring States, can't you know this at a glance? I've been taken care of in the past. Shiji laughed wildly. After carefully observing Shiji, Zhanguo's face suddenly changed. Your legs. The rudder over Sky's head had been pulled out, and even his legs had been restored. Anal once went to Greenbit, a small island across the bridge from Dressrosa, to capture the little human Princess Mancheri who had the ability to heal fruit. And to restore Shiki is to use the highest ability of the healing fruit, Object Restoration. This move can restore all objects, both living and non-living, to their undamaged state. After Shiji received treatment, his combat power also returned to the level of Carp. Sengoku Whitebeard. Why is it unexpected? I brought a present here. Looking at Shiki's malicious smile, a bad feeling emerged in Sengoku's heart. Look at the sky, a navy suddenly shouted. In the sky, a huge building is slowly floating from a distance. Almost the size of the naval headquarters. Dark materials make the building appear gloomy and oppressive. What is that? Ski's ability. Although it was a bit broken, the senior officers of the Navy still recognized what it was at a glance. Underwater prison. Shike pulled the entire advanced city over. Ski, you bastard, what did you do to Magellan? What about the Navy and the prisoners inside? Magellan, that poisonous guy, dead. Sky took a puff on his cigar. But this isn't my masterpiece. You should ask someone for the Black Dragon Kid. Black Dragon Kid. It's the Chihuahua. Enel, that bastard. Sengoku gritted his teeth. It's troublesome now. Doberman's face was gloomy. It's not just Shiki, you look at the advanced city. Lieutenant Flying Squirrel narrowed his pupils. Akutagawa, Shiryu, Buster Choate, Pete Pizarro and Baroric Redfield. Shilba's Riley. Quote. Ryder Rayleigh, are you two going to participate in this war as well? Sengoku was already devastated and didn't know how to deal with it. If it is only facing the Whitebeard pirates, then the loss of the Navy is still within the controllable range. But Shiji's messing up like this is almost equivalent to facing the 2-4 Emperor pirates directly. Counting Enel and Carter, as well as the gang brought by Luffy, the combined combat power of their navy is close to the 3-4 emperors. Warring states, don't panic, it's not that bad. Shiji and Whitebeard, they can't cooperate without any hesitation. Crane said. Suru saw through the weak point of this pirate alliance at a glance. Anil didn't really help Whitebeard. He wished that the Whitebeard pirates and the navy would lose both. As for the Golden Lion, it is possible to fight with Whitebeard without a word. Ryder is considered to be Enel's crew, but his obedience to Enel's orders is very limited, which is similar to Kibukai helping the navy to make soy sauce. Rayleigh jumped out of the air and said slowly, Roger's captain's son is about to be executed, Whitebeard and the Golden Lion are coming, it's a bit unreasonable for me not to come, ha 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 ha. I accidentally met on the road a few old friends. Quote. Rayleigh laughed heartily. Ho ho, Warring States, I have received a lot of care from your navy for so many years. I missed you very much when I lived in Pushin City. Since my captain is here, I will stop by and catch up with you. Now. Captain, the word that came out of Ryder's mouth shocked both Sengoku and Garp. What kind of character can make that lonely red? It's troublesome now. Another group of incredible characters has come. It's so scary. Kizaru looked solemn. Fortunately, Whitebeard has been seriously injured by him and Akainu. Next, their navy's chances of winning are still very large. Half of Akainu's body turned into lava, and the smell of sulfur and volcanic ash came out from behind him and burned an area red. He is now like a volcano about to erupt. You pirates all should be burned to ashes. I have to make a quick decision on my side too. Seeing that the battle situation has taken a turn for the worse, Garp is also a little anxious. He took a pair of gloves from his pocket and put them on. Throw away the navy coat and tie that says justice. He's going all out. Ah, quick fight. Can you do it? Enel disagreed. Little devil, don't underestimate the navy. Boom. Garp stomped on the ground and rushed in front of Enel in an instant. It's useless no matter how many times. Enel suddenly felt an uncomfortable breath. Heilushi. Caught you. Garp grabbed Enel's wrist with his left hand and punched Enel's face with his right fist. His pair of specially made gloves, the palms of the hands and the backs of the hands are inlaid with small grained sea-floor stones. Boom. Snapped. Click. Boom. He held onto Enel tightly and kept throwing his fist with his right hand. Now you can't use any kind of high-speed recovery ability. If Enel is really hit by Heilushi, the improvement brought by his dragon and dragon fruit will disappear, leaving only the resilience of the changed body. Resilience is half what it was in its heyday. However, that would have to get Heilushi into his body. Just grabbing his wrist, Hailu Stone will not make him weak. His outermost skin-like scales now have the effect of isolating seawater. Garp's punching movement suddenly stopped, and a huge force clenched his fist tightly. It's me who caught you. What? Under Garp's unbelievable gaze, Enel's dragon tail struck from the side, hammering him hard at the waist. Why are you still moving? You still know too little about me, Garp. The crescent-shaped tail hammer of the dragon's tail was like a sharp blade, stabbing at Garp's heart. Garp's right hand, Enel, was holding it, and the space to dodge was very limited, so he could only try his best to avoid the key points. The tail hammer slashed a bloodstain across his chest. Enel's attack power is not weak, but because of his weak physical skills, it is difficult to cause damage to others without making mistakes. But it is difficult for others to bring him effective killing. His high-strength physique and terrifying resilience can make his opponents doubt their lives. It doesn't matter whether he deserts or is in a daze during the battle, because basically whether he is in a daze or fighting seriously, he is the one who gets beaten. But the opponent must be careful all the way, otherwise Enel will catch the opportunity to exchange injuries. Garp struggled to break free of Enel's dragon form, but the price was a bloody scar from being caught on his right hand, and another blow to his chest from the swept dragon tail. Chapter 408 Restored Whitebeard. Boom. Garp smashed the walls of the harbor and flew into the square. Lieutenant General Garp. Grandpa. Cap. The blood stained Garp's white uniform, and the ferocious wound on his chest was shocking. Everyone was horrified, and the famous carp was beaten like this. And Enel, who was flying in the air, seemed to be unharmed. That guy has become stronger again. Has it reached this level? Doflamingo's pupils shrank. He is in an alliance with Enel. In the beginning, Enel was inferior to him in terms of his own strength and power. In the alliance, Ming-Jie basically firmly controlled the right to speak. However, after that, as his body gradually grew to the peak, his strength growth began to slow down, or even stagnated. However, Enel's strength has grown at a steady rate, not only has not slowed down, but has a tendency to accelerate slightly with the expansion of the Black Triangle Chamber of Commerce. The bigger the power, the faster the collection of resources, the faster the growth of strength will of course be. Enel's voice is getting bigger and bigger, from being inferior to Doflamingo to being equal to him. As for now, Brother Ming began to worry about the cooperation between them. The alliance is based on the closeness of the strength of the two sides. If one side is too powerful, the weaker side is likely to be swallowed up. Working with someone who is too powerful is not a good thing. The sea is a cruel place, and among the pirates, the law of nature of the law of the weak is vividly interpreted. Garp stood up from the ruins, too careless. Whitebeard is no match for the passage of time, and the heroes of the Navy are getting old. It seems that I can only do it myself. Zero left from the execution platform. Enel flew to Whitebeard's side and slowly fell. It's really embarrassing. Where did the prestige when you fight with me go? Little devil, if you want to fight, I don't mind accompanying you. Whitebeard's voice was weak. I'm not interested in fighting with you. There's no benefit at all. Enel spread his hands, but you should need this. A good thing for you. Enel took out a large light ball from the ring space where he ate the kangaroo fruit. Shot into Whitebeard's body. That bastard, what does he do to Dad? Calm down, look at Dad's wound. Marco was a doctor, and at a glance he could see that Whitebeard's mental state was recovering. The burn on the abdomen receded at a speed visible to the naked eye, and the small hole punched by Kayabu's laser also healed quickly. Whitebeard, returned to the state before the war. This is another power of the healing fruit, the blood donation dandelion. With Man Shirley's hand, someone can voluntarily contribute a period of resilience to form a light group. These light clusters have the ability to quickly recover from injuries. The better the contributor's resilience, the better the healing power. This, blood donation dandelion, for Whitebeard is made up of Enel's resilience. The effect is of course needless to say. It is a pity that the shelf life is too short, otherwise, if it is stored in large quantities, it will be no less useful in the war than a general. Gee la 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 la, you kid, there is such a thing. If you want to give your sons a tomorrow, just work harder, otherwise, they will have no future. By the way, let me tell you a news that guy Tiki, I have already killed it. Really, he's dead, that troublesome guy. Whitebeard was a little relieved, but also a little sad. Tiki defected from the Whitebeard pirates to pursue his dream. Whitebeard will never care about this. When his son grows up, he wants to fly to the sky by himself. How could a father stop him? However, what makes him angry is that Titch killed Sage. Brotherly cannibalism, this is the unforgivable point. More sad than angry, Titch is also his son. Whitebeard's greatest wish is for the family to be happy together. He doesn't actually fight for hegemony. He incorporated many islands into his own territory, one for the expenses of the Whitebeard pirates, to support his rebuilt hometown, and the other to protect those islands from the invasion of other pirates. If you put aside the skull and crossbones flag, it is actually similar to a country using taxpayer money to support the army to protect the country from aggression. The reason why Whitebeard is called one of the four emperors is simply because of his power. He never took the initiative to fight for hegemony. In this war, if you die, I will help take care of your sons. Goo. The corner of Enel's mouth curled into an arc, and he silently put away the recording bay. The pirates all showed excited expressions as Whitebeard recovered from his injuries. Just now they almost really thought it was over. Once Whitebeard dies, their fate can be imagined. But now Whitebeard's injury has not only recovered, but the Navy has another group of great enemies. Carp was also badly injured. This gave them unlimited confidence and felt that this wave could work. Kill, defeat the Navy and rescue Ace. Oh. On the other hand, the Navy was panicking. Oops, what did he do? Whitebeard, that monster, his injuries have fully recovered. Damn, so our efforts just now were not in vain. They didn't know how many times Anil's ability to restore others could be used. If the number of times was unlimited, then this kind of battle would be desperate. Don't panic, there is no limit to such tactics. This is the headquarters of the Navy, the last bastion of justice. If you retreat, who will defend the peace of this sea? Sengoku said encouragingly. For justice, catch the pirates in one sweep. Even if we pay a heavy price. Let the latecomers know our efforts will not be in vain. The era of pirates will end in the near future with our efforts. Quote. Buddha light emerged from behind the Warring States period, and his whole body glowed with golden light. Like an angry Buddha, with AWE inspiring majesty and holiness. At this point, he must also make a move. Jia ha 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 ha, for justice. You take your boring justice sink into the sea. Shike waved his hand and pressed down. His ability to push the city was instantly released, and the huge push city slammed into Malinford. The shadow is getting closer and closer, like death descending. Ski is a lunatic. Asshole. Whether it was a pirate or a navy, they cursed one after another, with despair in their eyes. Waiahaha, it's not good for us to do this. Bashes still laughed. Come down quickly. If it's slower, it's none of your business. Luhuo used a ladder to connect to the advancing city. Oh, great help. Thanks. As soon as they left, they heard a muffled thud. The huge propulsion city fell directly into the sea as if it had been hit by something. Chapter 409, Assassin's Creed 0. Boom. The advancing city fell into the sea, rolled up a monstrous wave, and swept toward Malinford, but was blocked by an invisible air barrier. With a bang, the sea water was blasted open and fell like raindrops. Zero can suppress his breath when he is not doing it. But with his shot, everyone who has seen and heard can feel his cold and terrifying aura. There was no surprise on Enel's face. He sensed people not by sound, but by vitality. Zero's existence, he knew from the beginning. Lahaha, I'm still going to be killed in the end as your navy's action. So poor Judiciary Island was breached by a new pirate, and he attacked the Tianlong people again in the Chambord Islands, but the generals were dispatched but without success. The advanced city was completely destroyed now. Do you still want to throw away the Navy headquarters? Zero's tone was filled with suppressed anger. Now is not the time to be held accountable afterwards. I will go to the 5 Old Stars to apologize. Let's deal with the enemy first. Warring States said. Zero didn't answer, and once again turned into a mass of air and disappeared from everyone's sight. His breath became weaker and weaker, almost imperceptible. Hey, do you need such a troublesome character as Dyke in battle? Ryder held his umbrella. This is not very good. Shiji's face changed slightly. Meow woo woo. Carter refused to accept it. It took out the sea tower stone dagger from the space, intending to show them who is the best assassin. Oh, assassin, leave it to me. Enel was full of confidence. He had also done the work of an assassin before. He has always been the perfect assassin. Don't worry, I've done similar work, and I don't know what the assassin's tricks are. Akutagawa's face darkened. He remembered Enel's so-called assassination. Carter's small paws could not cover its big cat face. They complained wildly in their hearts. Where did you get the confidence from the fans? Zero turned into air and quickly approached Enel, who was his target. He watched Enel fight for so long, and came to the conclusion that the opponent was hard to kill. He doesn't have much confidence either. Carp is strong, and Zero knows that. But such a powerful Garp did not leave any wounds on Enel's body. Instead, he was caught and wounded. Ling held an ordinary dagger in his hand, not made of Halu stone. He can hide his breath as much as possible, and the other party can't feel the danger until a moment before he starts. But the dangerous aura that Sea Tower Stone brings to the capable person cannot be concealed. In closer. Finally, the dagger in Zero's hand was almost close to Enel's heart. He is a little strange. Is this person's fighting consciousness so poor? Generally speaking, a powerhouse of this level should have noticed it long ago. He stabbed the dagger hard, and there was a lot of air in it. The compressed air quickly collided with Enel's body. Boom exploded. Hot blood spattered. One hit kills. The perfect assassination. Zero's mouth curled into a smile, and when he wanted to step back, he found that his arm was caught, and he couldn't pull it away. It really hurts. Ainil's face was bloody, and his pupils were glowing red, looking like a blood-soaked Shira. Under Zero's astonished gaze, the slap-sized hole in Enel's chest grew rapidly and healed quickly. Zero's mouth twitched. Although he knew that his resilience was strong, how could he be so strong? It was a serious injury that completely shattered the heart. Are you sure you are still human? Since it has been discovered, Zero is not cowardly. Then face it. If the assassination fails, kill it head-on. What kind of assassin is he who doesn't know how to open washwang? Air cannon. Zero used his other hand to aim at Enel's face, and the compressed air burst into a shock wave. Enel took the attack and left a claw mark on Zero's shoulder. Boom. Zero's arms collided and burst into air, and Enel broke free from his hands. Enel didn't use dark water from the beginning, and he wanted to keep that trick against Kyabu. From the very beginning, he planned to try to kill Kizaru to take his glittering fruit here. It's hard to do, but always try. Maybe it's a success. God Bucky is now on the same side as him. As for Zero, Enel is much easier to deal with than Kizaru. Even if Zero hides, there is nothing to hide in front of him. Carter looked at the green pheasant dissatisfied. Just because of the entanglement of the green pheasant, it lost the chance to stab. It can instantly use the Sea Tower stone dagger to attack any corner of the range it sees. In the face of a strong enemy, if the capable person is caught by it and stabbed with a knife, he can basically send a cool song. Damn it! Zero touched the wound on his shoulder. It's the first time I've been hurt by a target that has already been stabbed during an assassination attempt. It's been a long time since I felt pain. It doesn't matter, I'll help you recall that feeling. I'm not like you, and pain is commonplace for a desperado like me. In fact, there are not many opportunities to confront people of the same level with the powerhouse of Enel's level. Enel would often feel pain, purely because of the way he fought. How dare you hurt me? Let my noble blood drip to the ground. I must not let you go. I will make you feel hopeless. Wearing a mask makes it difficult to see his expression. His figure gradually faded away and merged with the air again. Desperate fear. Neck, heart, head. Where do you think my next attack will come from? Slowly wait for death to come. His voice was ethereal, as if it came from all directions. Enel looked up at the sky. Come on, I'll stand here and let you chop. You can't kill me anyway. Zero's tone was stagnant, and he was choked by this sentence. It was a long time before he spoke again. Your resilience can't come without the slightest cost. I'm afraid it will take a lot of physical strength. How many times can you recover? Recovering from such an injury was indeed a huge drain on Enel, but he had pre-stored a wave of vitality before he came. It is equivalent to bringing a bunch of potions that return blood and blue. Coupled with his own terrifying vitality, it is more than enough to fight a short-term top war. Come, hurt each other. Carter got rid of Aokiji and ran into an unnoticed corner. It looked at the entire battlefield with piercing eyes, ready to stab in the back at any time. Chapter 410 Assassin, Creed Assassin Cat. Boom. Fist and bang, Garp met Whitebeard. Long time no see, Carp. I won't let you go. Whitebeard, I'm the Navy. Cap was injured by Enel and was slightly disadvantaged. Gu la 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 la, but I also have a reason to go there. My son Ace is waiting for me. Enel still had time to be in a daze. He thought that Ace was called Roger and Daddy Whitebeard, and he was called Grandpa Garp, so that Whitebeard is Garp's son. Bastard, don't look around. Zero was furious. Ah! Enel showed a completely indifferent expression. He pretended not to know where Zero was, so that he could beat him unexpectedly. Zero still had lingering fears about being caught and beaten by Enel. If he hadn't broken free early, he might have been hammered to death by Enel. So I'm still very cautious. At this time, Carter's attention was also on Enel. He waited for Zero to appear and stab him when he was caught by Enel again. Aokiji confronts Shiryu. "Alala Shiryu, have you fallen?" Aokiji blew a breath and condensed an ice blade. Ice Army Blade. The ice blade collided with Shiryu's sword. Shiryu had a cigar in his mouth, and he only needed to hold back the high-end combat power of the Navy. There is no need to fight to the death, so it is quite leisurely now. Because I have no future to speak of. Instead of wasting my time in that dark place, I'd better follow that ambitious man and make a name for himself on the sea. Shiryu's strength is very strong, on the same level as Marco. But because he was stationed in the underwater prison, he was not a base officer like Magellan. Therefore, the statement is not obvious, and the world is very unfamiliar with his name. At the beginning, when Blackbeard invaded the Advanced City, he almost left Shi to be Magellan. Moreover, in the Advanced City, Shiryu was not allowed to kill anyone if he wanted to. Being put in prison by Magellan, he didn't want to stay in that depressing place anymore. "Who is it? The man you can recognize, the Golden Lion?" Aokiji asked. "Golden Lion. He is already a person from a previous era. The lion's heart will rot when it loses power and ambition, and the lion will also grow old at that time. He is just an old man who seeks a place to bury his bones. It's just a legend. My allegiance is the dark dragon that is trying to devour the world." Shiryu was overwhelmed by Enel's madness for slaughtering the great prison under the sea and his near-invulnerable toughness. Dark Dragon Enel. That guy's ability is indeed a dragon fruit. When Enel was mentioned, Aokiji's face was solemn. Compared to them, Enel was so young that he couldn't believe it. His strength, planning, and the strength of the entire team made Qingzi feel shocked. The powerful strength made Garp helpless for a while. The forbearance of the past few years is all for today's outbreak, and there are many talented people under his command. What's even more terrifying is that youth means potential, and Enel still has the possibility to grow. Now it is enough to match the general, so where is his upper limit? "Alala, I seem to have heard some terrible news. So who else is in your team?" "Don't tell me all the people Shiki brought." Aochi asked Shiryu tentatively. For the sake of my past friendship, I won't keep it secret. To tell you the truth, the captain doesn't care anyway. Not all Shiki, Rayleigh, and Shachi, the rest including the Red Earl, all his crew. Aokiji's pupils shrank, cold sweat dripping down his face. Akutagawa Huang too. They seem to have known each other for a long time, more than 10 years ago. Shiryu breathed out a cigarette. "What is your purpose?" "Hey Kuzan, are you asking too much? It's impossible to say, and I only know a little bit about it. Don't bother the captain, just play with me for a while. It's been a long time since I fought with an evenly matched person. I'm almost rusted all over." Shiryu's eyes flashed bloodthirsty light. "Alala, you still haven't changed." Qingzi was helpless. Facing Shiryu, he was still able to do it with ease, and he was able to focus a part of his mind on Enel's side. However, under Shiryu's sharp slash, he couldn't get out for a while. Suddenly, a deadly crisis rose from behind him. Aokiji rolled to the left, and the sense of crisis disappeared. Aokiji looked up at Carter, who was looking up at the sky as if he didn't care about my business. "What's going on? What is the sense of crisis just now?" Qingzi pondered in his heart. He still didn't understand, but his intuition told him that the sense of crisis was brought to him by Carter. Shiryu didn't understand Aokiji's action at first, so he didn't show a sudden look until he glanced at Carter. It can be said that Tich was killed by Carter. Cut nosy. Aokiji knew that Carter was difficult to deal with, but a head-on battle would not give him much threat, as long as he was careful about its strange power. But now the vigilance of this mysterious fat cat has been raised by a whole notch. Carter lowered his head and sighed. "Meow, it's a pity, I almost beat a general." It is not discouraged and continues to look for the next target. Kizaru, who was confronting Ryder, felt the chrysanthemum cool inexplicably, turned into a light spot and flashed over Ryder's slash, and looked at Carter. Meow woo, this thing is so vigilant. The cat's face was full of disappointment. This is the fruit that Wei Shi named to get his hands. Kizaru's fighting style has always been self-preservation, taking advantage of the gap to counterattack opponents while ensuring his own safety. His warning of danger prevented Carter from finding a chance to attack. Huh, Navy brat, do you care about that cat that much? Ryder didn't know Carter's strength, but he could sense that Carter was quite strong. In fact, the perception of color perception is not accurate. For example, sea beasts or sea kings are quite powerful life forms in the perception of seeing and hearing, but their actual combat power is very limited. What can perceive is only the level of the body, moves, special abilities, etc. Are not within its scope. Physical strength can only be used as a reference. Just like Anal, he is very dangerous in the perception of seeing and hearing. After his dragon transformation, the level of his body faintly surpassed that of the general, but the actual combat power he exerts is touching. However, because he has special abilities, hard scales and super resilience, the combination is still very strong. His strength lies in his ability to fight in groups, which can only be manifested after they consume each other to a certain extent in a duel. Ryder took Carter as a reference to a normal sea beast, and of course he didn't think it was so scary. It's terrifying facing an old senior, and being targeted by that dangerous guy. Kazuna strongly demands a salary increase. Chapter 411 Invite Mahawk. Lion Chikiri Valley. The sword Mangyu that the golden lion cut out with his hands and kicked out with his legs is completely different. The huge sword glow runs through the heavens and the earth, spanning hundreds of meters. That kind of edge, if not face to face, just watched from a distance. It seems that the skin can be faintly tingled. Chopper rushed towards the execution platform, where a golden-haired Buddha was shining brightly. Different from the dazzling and bright light of the yellow monkey, it gives a warm and soft feeling. Such beautiful characters as truth, goodness and beauty come from the depths of the heart, not dazzling, but direct to the heart and soul. Bathed in this light, the evil thoughts seem to have subsided a lot. In this battlefield of blood and gunpowder, it is like a pure land. Buddha Fist. The huge golden Buddha punched the chopper, moving like thunder. At that moment, he was no longer a compassionate Buddha, but a Vajra with angry eyes. The shock wave and the chopper cancel each other out, and the diffuse aftermath blasts the air. Jia ha 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 ha, warring states, it's still the same. The golden lion floated in the air, laughing wantonly. The gust of wind from the battle made his golden hair flutter like a lion's hair on the temples. More proud. Sengoku felt the pressure from the big pirate. Garp was there when they fought Ski in the past. So not too much of a threat, but this time is different. Garp is facing an equally terrifying opponent, Whitebeard. He needs a man to beat Sai. Hey, be careful, I'm about to make a move. Shiki pressed his right hand down, then raised it, his palm turned as if he was holding something, and his wrist slowly turned. Sengoku's pupils shrank and shouted, "Everyone pay attention. Be careful of Shiki's attack." Click, a small pebble rolls a few times. The ground began to tremble and the dust flew. Rocks were mixed in the soil, and cannons, walls, and even the walls that were supposed to surround the Whitebeard pirates were uprooted. The building of the Navy headquarters also trembled, turning into stones and cracking. It seems that the Earth Dragon has turned over, and the end is coming. Lion Power Earth Scroll. The Earth turned into lions, roaring in the sky. Countless navies and pirates were involved. Of course Sky wouldn't specifically avoid the Whitebeard pirates, they weren't a gang themselves. I am afraid that even if Shikei's own subordinates are involved, he will not have the slightest concern. Damn it, that bastard Ski. What a mess. This trick covers a very wide range and is a proper map cannon. The battlefields of several powerhouses have been involved. Whitebeard and Garp punched the lion, scattering the dust. Aokiji and Shiryu cut a passage with slashes. Kizaru turned into a light and flew into the sky from the gap. In the end, the warring states instantly waved countless fist shadows, dispelling Shiki's attack, and guarding the execution platform. Ba, Anal crawled out of the soil. Just now, he wanted to fly into the air to escape, but he was shot down by Zirun air cannons and got involved. Hey Ski, don't fire the map cannon, you bastard. The disgraced Enel slapped the dirt off his body in disgust. Jia ha, don't worry, you're not alright. I will never let you do whatever you want. Sengoku used the moon step to jump into the sky. If you can stop it, Sengoku. Otherwise, the Navy headquarters will be turned into history today. Sakura Chikiri Valley. Sakura flowers falling rain. In the face of Akutagawa Huang's hurricane-like attack, his opponent quickly waved the black knife in his hand and sealed himself up against the air. That black knife, for its owner, is the strongest sword and the best shield. Ping, ping, ping. Countless swords and shadows are intertwined. Akutagawa Wanghai's blue pupils and Hawkeye's orange pupils looked at each other. The seven-star sword exuding a strange red glow collided with the black knife knight. Burst out of Mars. Your sword is very similar to you. What kind of person there is, what kind of sword there is naturally. I haven't seen it for more than 10 years, Mahawk. What's its name? Seven-star sword. Good sword. My captain gave it to me. Huh, Captain, aren't you a lone wolf anymore? Hawkeye was a little surprised. No, I've never been. It's been more than 10 years he's proven that he has enough strength to lead us. It's him. Well, he is indeed a very strong man. Hawkeye glanced at Neil, who was crawling out of the soil. Huang suddenly had the urge to cover his face. Captain, can you do a little more work? I'm talking about you. Show your domineering side, and don't ask you to have the aura of a white beard, but don't be like a fighting bastard. Your sword seems to be a little different. Compared to the previous femininity, it's a bit more domineering. Hawkeye was a little surprised. This change in style, even a small change, also shows the change of its owner. I'm stronger than before, not only the sword, but myself too. Let's have a good fight if we have time. This is not a place for a showdown. The one time I lost to you in the past, I haven't forgotten. Akutagawa slashed a flying cannonball in half. Humph, interesting. I'm looking forward to it. 12 years ago, you only lost a little bit to me that time. I wonder what kind of surprise you can give me now. A swordsman is to constantly fight with the sword in his hand and fight against different people. From the battle to understand your own sword and the sword of others, then you can take a step closer and move to a higher realm. Hawkeye has been sitting on the world #1 throne for a long time. After the red hair broke an arm, he didn't have the heart to compete with him again in swordsmanship. He hadn't met an opponent who needed his all-out for a long time. That's why I was bored and went to the East China Sea to chase and kill a little pirate to pass the time. And now, Akutagawa's invitation to fight made his heart as a swordsman start to get excited. The blood in the whole body is boiling. That is the joy of facing a strong enemy. Then it's settled. A month from now where? A month later, do you have time? Hawkeye glanced at Enel. Anyone with a discerning eye would know that Enel will become the new pirate emperor when he returns to the New World. At the beginning, there are bound to be many challenges and troubles. At this time, he was a little suspicious that Akutagawa Huang could not adjust his state. What he wants to face is an opponent who is truly at his peak. That way he can have fun. It doesn't matter, he should resolve the matter on his side. Then it's settled. Come to Kraigana Island. The two put their knives together, and Hawkeye will come to participate in the war on the top just to see the power of the strongest man in the world. He had no interest in going all out for the Navy. Thanks for the 100 tip of 20,180,520,2,949,049, and the 200 tip of Ice Lotus Heart, *, hollow down pointing triangle, *. Chapter 412 on the execution stand. Lafayette flew out of the air, his wings covered in blood. Shaky, he struggled to fly beside Carter, his face pale and blood on the corners of his mouth. What's wrong with you, Lafayette? Vassos asked. with concern in his voice. Too careless. I remember that you seemed to be saying that you were going to deal with that bastard Dolores. How did you get beaten up like this? Carter looked with contempt in his eyes. Clearly said, really useless. It's not her. Forget it, I'll kill her myself next time I meet her. Although Carter wasn't very vengeful, Dolores often came to them to show her presence, and she couldn't even remember it. It took a light group out of space and merged into Lafayette's body. Lafayette's injuries recovered quickly, and his face was still pale. Straw Hat Boy, take advantage of now. Rush. Ivankov intercepted Bartholomew Bear, who had been transformed into a weapon. Well, thanks, little Eva. Rubber eraser. Don't think about it. The ghost spider slashed at Luffy. Damn it. Luffy's hand was grasping the steel frame on the execution platform, and it was difficult to dodge a blow. Don't get distracted. Go ahead. Daddy said we wanted to cover you. Beasta blocked the ghost spider. Come on, Luffy. Jinping stopped the two lieutenants. Ace is up to you. Yi Zhang shot down two sailors. That's it. A mighty voice came. Immediately afterward, hot air and red lava. There was red in front of him, the tumbling magma, and the rising smoke. Even if the attack had not yet come, he could feel the fatal danger. I won't let you go any further. Die for me. The dog. The huge magma dog headed towards Luffy and bit him. The magma is getting closer and closer. If he is hit by this blow, he will definitely be dead. Damn, it's General Akainu. A Zhang shot and tried to stop it, but in vain. A long sword was placed in front of Luffy, blocking the lava. Young people are full of energy. I'm starting to get excited too. Let me, the old man, come to accompany you twice. Seeing the person coming, Akainu's pupils shrank. Pluto, Shilba's Riley. Are the remnants of the previous era gathered here? I want me to hold a luxurious funeral for you all. My old bones are still not so brittle, be careful to break out your teeth. Rayleigh said to Luffy again, let's go. Take advantage of now. Thanks, Uncle Rayleigh. Luffy rushed to the execution stand. Warring State's face changed. It's been. Don't be distracted while fighting with me. Chikiragu. Warring States narrowly avoided the slash, leaving a bloodstain on his face. Whitebeard smiled. Cap, it looks like your grandson is doing a good job. Luffy, Garp pondered. His heart was complicated. There was joy that Ace was about to get out of trouble, and there was also the worry that the Navy might face failure. But no matter what, he has done his best in this war, whether it is stopping Ainil or fighting against Whitebeard, he is worthy of his code of justice. Hey, who is that? The Straw Hat is about to rescue Ace, won't you stop it? Ano pointed to the execution platform and said. He wanted to let the Whitebeard pirates fight with the Navy headquarters. If they retreated so quickly, it was not in line with his purpose of expanding casualties on both sides. Lahaha, just a fire fist. Ace, if I save it, I will save it, I just need to kill you. Ah, Enel was puzzled. Is the hatred value I attract so high? Why does it feel like you and I have a deep hatred? My mission is not to deal with the Whitebeard pirates, but to take down your head, said Ling Hansheng. Enel's eyes narrowed slightly. Take off my head. Is this the real purpose of this mysterious guy? Is that the Charles Ross guy? Enel suddenly realized that this was unusual. Just to frighten the Tianlong people, there should be no need to spend so much trouble. When the Whitebeard pirates attacked the Navy headquarters, they deliberately dispatched such characters to deal with themselves. When it comes to advancing the city, the time should not be right. He clearly asked Caroline to block the signal, and the government's response should not have been so fast. What Enel has done so far in Malenford is more or less soy sauce. At least it's just soy sauce on the surface. But listening to Zero's tone, it seems that he came for himself from the beginning. Ace, I'm here to save you. Luffy took out the key to the Halushi handcuffs that Hancock gave him. How does the Straw Hat Boy have a key? But so, Kisamu wanted to use the laser, but suddenly stopped, turning into a spot of light and flashing aside. Are you stopping me, Carter Lovewater? Kizaru looked at Carter, his eyes narrowed, revealing a dangerous light. Carter stared. Luffy is my friend, I won't let you get in his way. Enel is in a hurry. Hello. Where are you from? We're not really here to save Ace. The next battle is just to balance the strength of both sides and make them more casualties. Carter got on the wrong boat and got together with Luffy. Coupled with the affairs of Judiciary Island and Luffy's charisma, they forged a long friendship. The order Enel gave it was very general, saying that it was a riot and expanding casualties on both sides, but there was no specific request for what to do. So Carter felt that there was nothing wrong with helping Luffy rescue Ace. Suddenly, a black shadow rushed towards Luffy. Be careful, Luffy, Ace hurriedly shouted. But it was too late. Boom. Luffy was kicked like a football. This stance is heavy, and a lot of armed colors are used. Luffy vomited blood, rolled a few times on the ground, and stayed away from the execution stand. But damn, who is it? Luffy looked at Ace with a blurry vision. His scarred body was almost overwhelmed. That's Zephyr. Former General, Black Wrist Zephyr. Vista looked solemn. Damn it, obviously it's about to succeed. Azang's hands appeared blue veins. I will never let you near the execution platform. Block my reputation, Zephyr yelled. Cap, I'm sorry, he said to himself. Behind Zephyr, Dolores looked complicated. Huh, former Navy Admiral. Carter recognized Dolores at a glance. He was the one who hurt you, Lafayette. That's right, I should have been able to get it. The person who helps my enemy is my enemy. Carter licked the cat's paw, his eyes full of fierceness. It's terrifying, I won't let you disturb Teacher Zephyr. Kizaru lit up. Ryder interrupted Kizaru's transfer with a sword. Navy boy, your opponent is me. Chapter 413 Enel vs. Zero. Zero charged at Enel with a dagger in hand, and before he touched him this time, he found that his legs were entangled by a thick tail. Caught you. What? Zero didn't have time to be surprised, the sharp dragon claws were already grabbing towards his face. Enel shattered his mask, causing no real damage. At a critical moment, Zero elementalizes his upper body in advance and evades efficiently. Armament color domineering is not a seafloor stone, it can only catch the entity of the capable person, but cannot prevent him from being elementalized by the part that was not affected by the armed color. Air cannon. Boom, boom, boom. The compressed air kept bursting out of Enel's chest, mixed with domineering. Just relying on the defensive power of scales is no longer enough. A circle of darkness poured out of his body, and then solidified into armor. Dark armed form. Nature is really annoying, Enel muttered, and he waved his claws several times, but he didn't hit Zero, who was constantly being elementalized in advance. Where did the Carter go? Hurry up and give him a knife and you're done. Do you think I'm holding someone for no cost? It hurts to be beaten. Enel glanced at the execution platform and saw that it was having a good time fighting with Zephyr. Hey, you're an assassin. What's the point of rushing to the front to fight? Moreover, your ability is a big threat to those who are capable, and it is of no use at all to a pure martial arts master like Kapu Zephyr. I don't want to fight with so many capable people, but I find Shang Zephyr stupid. It seems that Carter can't be counted on anymore, and Enel is ready to use the dark water. Zero sunk half of Enel's chest, but the latter still had no intention of letting go of his tail. He felt that something was wrong. If it continued like this, sooner or later he would be hit by Enel. And the darkness made him feel uneasy, like some kind of natural enemy. He gritted his teeth and forcibly pulled his leg out, and a large piece of skin was rubbed off by the dragon scales on Enel's tail. The calf was bloody, like a meat grinder. You're a CP0 person, right? That's amazing. The damage you've done to me has already surpassed Garp. If anyone who comes out of CP0 has your level, then I'm getting scared. Lahahaha, I won the prize. Although I'm just a veteran of the previous era, I'm still ashamed of that guy's strength. Of course the premise is to fight head-on. Who are you? With your strength, you shouldn't be a small person in CP0 and, Enel asked. I don't remember my previous deeds to the point where you all need to mobilize your forces to exterminate them at this time, or have you discovered my plan against the Navy? Planning. Zero thought, I didn't get any information on this, I just received an order from above. You are very strong, but you will still die here. From the beginning to the present, your voice has become weak. A lot. As for my identity, do you think I'll tell you that I'm Zero, the leader of CP0? Enel complained in his heart, is this guy Zontaomaru's brother? Zero. After a moment of silence, Zero hurriedly waved his hand and said, I'm just trying to make you not want to die. Although this guy was a cloud of air and couldn't even see a figure, Enel could still hear his panic in his voice. He couldn't help but complain, is this what the leader of CP0 looks like? It's really strange that your secrets haven't been leaked. Are you really from the spy agency? Enel's tone was full of suspicion. Nonsense, of course I am. Seeing that Enel's eyes were still full of disdain and contempt, Zero didn't defend, but said in a low voice, I'm really not very good at intelligence, but I can take this seat. It's not without reason, because the targets I shot are already dead. No matter how much I know, I won't reveal any information. Zero suddenly appeared behind Enel, but was almost swept away by Enel's dragon tail with a kick. How is it possible you can see me? Zero was surprised. It might have been an accident once, but hitting back with such accuracy twice in a row was definitely not an accident. Although he is confident in his ability to hide, he is not stupid. Enel's initial ignorance of where he was obviously a fake. All was discovered. Enel fluttered his wings and rushed towards Zero. Dragon feet shaved. 2 choppers hit scattered air cannons. Dragon breath flash. The sharp black beam is filled with the aura of destruction and death. Zero lowered his head slightly and flashed past. Enel's style of painting changed, as if he suddenly changed from a savage berserker to a mage. This caught Zero off guard, and was a little flustered in response. Combining ranged and melee combat is Enel's consistent style. Although the general tactic of swapping injuries for injuries has not changed, he was not as reckless in the past as he is now. If in the past it was 2 or 3 punches in exchange for 1 punch, now it is 5 or 6 punches or more in exchange for 1 punch. Struggle against Magellan, Cap, and Zero again. This is because his strength has improved too fast, and his mentality is a little floating. The success of the plan for the underwater prison gave him a dark fruit and a huge amount of vitality. And both fruits have been raised to the level of awakening, and they have also overcome the fatal weakness of seawater. Years of forbearance bear fruit. All the effort is worth it. To accept the bondage for a while is to gather strength to tear all the shackles one day in the future. Power swells him. The fighting style just now looked fierce, but the consumption of vitality and physical strength was huge. Especially in the face of Zero's extremely ferocious means of compressing air into the enemy's body and then detonating it. After the stored vitality was almost exhausted, he began to realize that his IQ just seemed to be offline. But it's so reckless, it's very happy. Don't think about anything, don't worry about anything. He seems to like this style. No, he has always liked this style, but he didn't have the strength to be so reckless before. When you are weak, you have to be stubborn, and you have to develop yourself carefully. As for being strong, then why do you think so much? Isn't the pursuit of power just to reduce the external power that can restrain oneself? Isn't it just for doing whatever you want? If after gaining strength, you lose your original intention and become a habit, then you are really just a coward. Now a general can no longer restrain him. Come on, face it. Hit if you don't agree. Enel was overdone, and he threw aside his original plan to pick up the last one. Dedicate yourself to the fight against Zero. Chapter 414 Alien Among the Draconians. Zero clearly noticed the difference in Enel. The latter was still dealing with him absent-mindedly just now, thinking about how to use the dark water and Carter to kill Kizaru unexpectedly. But now, his attention was on Zero. Open the distance with Zero vigilance. Every pore in his body reminds him of danger, very dangerous. It was like writing dazzling red characters with blood on a piece of white paper, urging him to stay away. As an assassin, his intuition doesn't know how many times he has been saved. Relying on this keen sense of danger, he successfully escaped after killing the target again and again, and evacuated in advance before the encirclement came. After Anil planned to use his full power, Zero felt no less pressure than when he was weak and alone on the mission. Roar. A roar that resounded through the heavens and the earth came from Anil's mouth. The wind and clouds changed color, and the mail waves surged. Malin Fodor seemed to tremble. Anil's eyes were flushed red, and hard scales continued to grow, covering his face. 2 dragon horns curved back like bunny ears appeared on its head. Dark wings covered with azure lines are wrapped in smoke. Dragon Tooth Sword. He pulled out 2 fangs and turned them into 2 sharp, milky white long swords. The body of the long sword is integrated with the hilt, which suddenly widens at the hilt and then tapers down evenly. The angle of the tip of the sword is very small and very sharp. Anil can't use swordsmanship, but this is his dragon tooth, the hardest and sharpest part of his body. Even if it is swung at will, it can easily cut through steel. Huh. Lafayette looked up at Enel in confusion. He is the one with the most thorough understanding of Enel's strategic plan and the most loyal execution of all his partners. Enel's actions filled his mind with question marks. It's too ostentatious, isn't it? No matter how you look at it, you are attracting firepower. Does it really matter? Why do you care so much? Just hit him. Devil fruit, I'm here. Lafayette charged at an ability user. Regardless of whether he is a pirate or a navy, except for the partners of the same pirate group, everyone else is an enemy. Cough bosses, help me get one too. Q said half deadly. Who cares about you? Do it yourself. Barshes roared. Anil is indeed very ostentatious now, but almost the top powerhouses have their own opponents, and there is no time to bother him. All he needs to face is Zero. Lahahaha dragon. It's a rare fruit, why do I feel a little weird? Zero muttered to himself. In fact, Enel also felt very uncomfortable. When he looked at the Tianlong people after the fruit awakened, he always felt like he was looking at the same kind. Could it be that Tianlong people are dragons? Enel stared at Zero and asked, Hey, are you a dragonborn? Why did you come to kill me? It's all said, I don't know, it's the Lord's order. Otherwise, I'd be too lazy to run this trip. Wait, how do you know that I'm a Tianlong person? Intuition, you are very similar to Brother Ming. Da Flamingo, it's him. Huh, you know each other. Lahahaha, of course we know each other. After all, we were both aliens among the heavenly dragon people. Zero suddenly stopped talking, and he realized that he had leaked. Now, if Enel asks Mingay, he will be able to find out his true identity. Forget it, just turn him into a dead person right away. Zero comforted himself. Burning sword. Zero waved his hand, and 2 flaming long swords appeared, opposing Enel at a distance. His figure has already revealed a vague outline, but his face is still transparent and can't be seen at all. Lahahaha, this is a flame with a temperature of more than 1000 degrees. Turn me into coke. Enel felt that the guy in front of him was a little nagging, always talking like a child, showing off his abilities. Don't you think it's a little stupid in combat? But it feels like it's full, well, maybe it's full of secondary school. Anyway, pretty cool. Flame Razor. Zero attacked. A fire snake traversed the sky, burning the sky red. The hot breath came from afar. Dark Dragon Wild Bite. The darkness gushing out from behind Enel turned into a dragon head and swallowed the flames. A trace of red light loomed from the dark dragon's body, and flames erupted, blowing the darkness away. Boom! A violent storm blasted over Marineford. The 2 rushed into the center of the explosion against the Mad Hare, and the flaming long sword and the dragon tooth sword collided. Figures intertwined, sound and light are great. After images appear quickly. Okay, that's amazing. Is this the duel of the great swordsmen? Kebi and Haroon cautiously stuck their heads out behind a big rock. Their eyes could barely keep up with the movements of the two men in the air. Hawkeye and Huang watched the fierce confrontation in the sky, and the corners of their mouths twitched indistinctly. Shiki and Shiliu are also full of black lines. Great swordsman. What kind of swordsman is this? Vista complained. After playing for a while, Enel discovered an interesting fact. Zero can't do swordplay. One of them relied on the high temperature of the flaming sword, and the other relied on the sharpness of the dragon-tooth sword. What they rely on is the huge lethality of the sword itself, not on swordsmanship. You're just brandishing a torch, aren't you? Enel said. You don't have the right to tell me, right? Are you chopping wood? Zero retorted. However, no one can deny that their battle is very fierce. There is no need for swordsmanship, just the sword they make with their abilities is already very scary. Doflamingo stood in front of Crocodile with his characteristic weird laugh. Foo foo foo, how about it? Sand Crocodile, how are you thinking? Join me, a new era is coming, and it belongs to our generation. Pirates like Whitebeard are outdated. Quote. Don't bother me, seeing you makes me very upset. If you beg to be my subordinate, I might consider accepting you. Crocodile looked cold. It looks like you are still so arrogant. I have no interest in forming an alliance with a clown. You are worried that your ally is too powerful, and you want to find an external force to contain him. Crocodile glanced at Enel. That's right, I do have some thoughts. Two strong allies really give me a headache. However, in front of that kind of monster, you are only weak. Go away, Sandstorm. A small vortex composed of sand appeared in Crocodile's hand, and after throwing it out, it turned into a huge sandstorm. Yang, what a pity. You should bury your old ideas together with this old era. Those who can't see the situation will always regret it. Do you have to find the latest chapter when you read the book? You are out. WeChat follow the beauty editor helps you find books. It's really not wrong to read books and flirt with girls. Chapter 415. That's what a man should be. Bucky is famous all over the world. Really? Why suddenly fainted? Bucky and Mr. 3 got up from the execution platform. Just now, Bucky suddenly had a whimsical idea, and directly disguised himself as an executioner to rescue Fire Fist Ace to carry out his Captain Bucky fame, big battle. Mr. 3 felt that this was very unreliable. He still couldn't beat Bucky, so he could only take a risk with him. The two of them looked at each other, and on the execution platform there were only the two of them, Fire Fist Ace, and a wounded and pale-faced female navy. Sengoku was not there, and Zephyr was also dragged by Carter. Good chance. 3, hurry up and open the lock, Bucky whispered. But what about that female navy? She seems to be a powerful person too. Mr. 3 also lowered his voice. She's hurt like this. It shouldn't be a problem for you to block the candle wall for a while. Ace is stunned now. These two executioners seem to be a little wrong. He turned his head and saw Bucky, a bit of an impression. You are. Shish. Bucky put his index finger on his lips and made a mute gesture. Don't be revealing. There's a navy here too. Ace recognizes Bucky, and they once had a party together. The friendship of the pirates came so quickly, and they made friends at a banquet. Ace was suddenly moved, and friends who were just a one-sided relationship rushed over to save him. He thinks too much. Bucky turned his head away and saw Dolores looking at the plaza, not paying attention to their side. So he tiptoed the key to Ace's handcuffs. Boom. A stray bullet hit the execution table, making a loud noise. Mr. 3 was so frightened that he quickly retracted his hand. Looking back at Dolores. Well, she still didn't notice. What they don't know is that Dolores is also full of black lines now. Can you save people faster? With such an obvious conversation, it's very hard for the old lady to pretend she doesn't know. Bucky and Mr. 3 dawdled for a long time and couldn't rescue Ace. Dolores was about to cry. It's not easy to be stupid. Finally, Luffy once again rushed to the execution platform. Dolores stepped up to stop him. Are you sister? Luffy, I won't let you pass. She was righteous, but she was thinking in her heart, the latter two should seize the opportunity. Alas, 3 and Bucky. Luffy recognized them with a look. Idiot. Don't expose us. Bucky was helpless to the pig teammate. Said with a face full of anger. Dolores. She was stunned for a while, a little confused by Luffy's behavior of actively revealing his teammates. Then he showed a shocked face, expression. They been caught. I was mixed in by pirates. Dolores hurriedly swung the knife at Bucky, and Luffy stopped her. Mr. 3 took the opportunity to open the Halushi handcuffs. It's they want to rescue Firefist. Fire! Fire at the execution stand. Numerous navies have attacked. There. The soaring flames rolled up from the explosion, and the roaring flames blocked all attacks. Dolores then ducked back from the hot wind from the explosion. Fire flame. The Navy looked at the execution stand with shock on their faces. Oops, Fire Fist Ace. Released. When the flames dissipated, Ace Luffy stood side by side. Bucky Akimbo laughed wantonly. Ha 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 ha, how about it? See what I can do. What Whitebeard has not done, I succeeded in doing it. I rescued Fire Fist Ace. Captain Bucky, Captain Bucky. His fans chanted. Yo, thanks, Bucky. Ace thanked him. People around the world who were standing in front of the video phone bug watched it with disbelief. Isn't this guy the idiot who made the movie? Was it just his cover-up? Now is his heroic character. Bucky is on the execution platform, his cape is fluttering in the wind, and behind him are Ace and Luffy and Mr. 3, as if he is the leader of the three. At this moment, he is the center of the entire battlefield, the center of the world. Okay, it's amazing. That's how men should be. Countless viewers standing in front of the video phone bug were adored by Bucky. I'm going to be Captain Bucky's subordinate. A man said. Ha ha ha, a big guy like Captain Bucky can't look down on a kid like you. It's me who wants to be his subordinate, said a pirate with a machete and a stubborn face. Boys, set sail, let's go to Captain Bucky. A pirate captain said boldly. Bucky's live show has been very successful and has countless fans. However, at this moment, in the eyes of many pirates, Lord Bucky, who seems to be heroic, powerful, and full of courage, is panicked in his heart. Oops, accidentally too high profile. What should I do now? I'm being watched by the Navy. Bucky, with sweaty eyes and wild eyes, is thinking about the route of the run. Mr. 3 complained in a rather indifferent tone. It really succeeded. He has taken it for granted. Bucky's overlord luck is not a blow. Oh, Ace has been rescued. Everyone retreats. After the Whitebeard pirates reached their strategic goals, they all retreated. They were just here to save people. Don't let them run away. Defeat Fire Fist Ace, Straw Hat Luffy and Bucky the Clown. Block up the honor of the Navy. Of course, the Navy will not stop there. They announced the execution of Ace to the world, so Ace must die. If Ace escapes, no matter how important their victory against the Whitebeard pirates is, it will be their failure. The Navy headquarters will also be disgraced. So at this moment, all the navies rushed towards Ace as if they had been beaten with blood. Whitebeard's head can be removed, but Fire Fist must remain. Go away. Akainu got angry, and with one move, the dog beat Rayleigh back and chased after Ace. How can I let you pass? Rayleigh wanted to intercept, but a sense of crisis came from the side. He quickly blocked the long sword aside. Ding! The person who attacked him was a purple-haired old man with dark skin, and his face exuded a fierce and strong aura. Zephyr! Hey, I won't let you get in the way, Rayleigh. Carter stepped aside after Ace was rescued. It's friends with Luffy, and it's good to want to save Ace, but Enel's plan can't be forgotten. You can't let the Whitebeard pirates leave so easily. This is the strategic goal that Enel gave it. Carter can assist Luffy to rescue Ace out of personal interest, which is within the operational space, but it will never disrupt Enel's deployment. Enel is its most important relative. Friends will help if they can help. If one day they stand against each other, they will not be merciful. Chapter 316, The Sword That Attacked Ace. Hum hum hum, Fire Fist Ace escaped. Why don't you chase it? Ano looked at Zero and said. He has a large burn on his right shoulder that is slowly healing. The heat adhered to his wound and did not dissipate for a long time, so the healing speed was slow. Opposite him, Zero's body has been revealed. However, the face still has only a vague outline. There was a wound on his abdomen, which was scratched by Ano's dragon-tooth sword. Zero glanced at the wound, and the sharpness of the dragon-tooth sword was beyond his imagination. Even with the domineering protection of the armed color, it was broken open. I said, my mission is just to kill you. It is the duty of the Navy to execute Fire Fist. If they can't even do this kind of thing well, they will gather almost all high-end combat power and a large amount of basic combat power. If you are rescued from under the eyes of the people in this situation, the Warring States period is no longer worthy of being a marshal. Hey, then let's fight. Who? Boom. The two fought together again. Shiryu, who was fighting against Aokiji, wanted to withdraw, but Aokiji clung to him. Childish. Hey Kuzan, don't you have to chase Fire Fist? I've had enough. Shiryu slashed the ice bird with a knife. Ah, it's really important that Sagazi has been chasing it. You have no reason to let go of the traitor in front of you. A reason to be boring. Hopefully you'll be able to laugh when the captain starts his show. Performance. Ouchi had a bad premonition in his heart. Ah, absolutely wonderful. Shiryu's mouth curved into a gloomy smile. Jiu la 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 la, the Straw Hat Kid and the Red Nose Kid did a good job. Whitebeard laughed. He had a sunken chest, which was beaten by Garp. His opponent Garp was in even worse condition, with blood on his head and a gash on his abdomen widened by the shock. It's really good. That's the grandson of the old man. Speaking of Luffy, Garp had a hint of pride. Even if the beliefs are different or even opposed, Garp is still positive about Luffy's achievements, his beliefs and will. He glanced at Dolores, always feeling that she wasn't doing her best. However, when the Warring States period was still on the execution platform, they did not find that the executioner had been dropped. Dolores didn't notice it and couldn't criticize it too much. Go on. Don't let these three guys go. The Navy shouted, and kept chasing. Hey, why are you chasing me? Bucky burst into tears. He ran desperately ran. A cannonball blasted near them, sending a huge cloud of smoke. Bucky and Mr. 3 took the opportunity to put on a Navy coat. He picked up his gun, pretended to be a Navy, and joined the pursuit team. What's the matter? Why are they gone? The Navy looked around suspiciously. Hurry up. Don't stop. Grab the Straw Hat and the Fire Fist, they are the most important. Bucky Thief shouted to catch the thief, learning to live. Yes. Hurry up. Bucky successfully diverted the Navy's attention and gave Mr. 3 a thumbs up. His white teeth seemed to flash. After Luffy shot the Navy who came to intercept him with a rubber machine gun, he looked around suspiciously. Why is Bucky missing? When he saw a big red nose mixed in with the Navy chasing from behind, his eyes almost fell in shock. It looks like we don't need to worry about him, he's quite smart. Ace said with a smile. Bucky and Mr. 3 have a life-saving grace for Ace, and they won't just run away when their benefactor is in danger. Now that Bucky successfully infiltrated the enemy's army, it was very safe, and Ace was relieved. After all, even if Ace is regarded as the number one target by the Navy, with interceptions in front and pursuit by generals in the back, there is a lot of pressure to bring Bucky and Mr. 3, the two scumbags. Luffy, it looks like we don't need to care about them. Hurry up and get away. Oh, got it, Ace. Without the burden, the two of them escaped a lot faster. Boom. A scarlet slash cut through the ground and attacked them. Luffy, be careful, Ace shouted. He was hit by a slash and turned into flames. Luffy, on the other hand, leapt forward, flipped a few somersaults and regained his footing. When he just stood up, another slash came flying. Fire punch. Boom. The flame and the slash collided, and both dissipated. The huge roar erupted with air waves, and the splashed stones knocked down the Navy on both sides. Who? Ace looked solemn. He sensed the strength of the comber from the simple confrontation. The smoke dissipated, and there was a beautiful person who stopped them. The red and white samurai clothes are gorgeous and noble. Blonde hair waving in the wind, and the light makeup on his face made him a little more coquettish. There is a red gemstone pendant in his left ear, shaking slightly. Sea blue eyes looked at the two of them, full of indifference, as if looking at dust. Coldly, without a trace of emotion. Luffy had a bit of an image of him. In Askar Island, Luffy and Akutagawa had a relationship. Luffy, don't come here, this man is dangerous. Ace shouted. Luffy stopped. Ace stared at Akutagawa Huang and said, what do you mean? You just helped us stop Hawkeye, and now you are blocking my way. The corners of Huang's mouth twitched into a smile. Of course I want to kill you. We were never partners. The situation just now was that we and the Whitebeard pirates joined forces to deal with the Navy, and the alliance was briefly reached because of the same goal. And now, you start withdrawn. Our goals are different, and of course we are back in hostility again. Don't you forget the hatred between me and you in the past. You hindered me and Kaido from capturing the country of Wano, and I defeated many affiliated pirates under your Whitebeard. These hatreds for cherished partners for you, it is an irreconcilable contradiction. Then it is not surprising that I take the opportunity to destroy the living force of the enemy. Quote. Hearing Huang mentioning the partners he killed, Ace's eyes rose with anger. Not the way of wording, but there is really a flame burning. Are you reminding me to avenge them by killing you? You can understand it like this. The gems on the 7-star sword lit up one by one, and the red and eerie light fascinated people's minds. After rescuing Ace, the Navy's offensive was more than a star and a half. They started working hard for the glory of the Navy. So Carter helped Luffy to rescue Ace. In fact, it was considered to promote the progress of the war. To a certain extent, it is in line with Enel's plan. But if Ace escapes, it means the war is over. Carter didn't take action against Luffy because of his friendship with Luffy, and just watched with inaction. Huang is different. He has a grudge against the Whitebeard pirates. Certainly do not want them to achieve their goals. Seeing that Ace was about to flee, he stepped forward to intercept it. Meow, Carter's cat's face was full of confusion. Because of Enel's strategy, it is not convenient to help read books and find the latest chapters by yourself. You are out. WeChat follow the beauty editor helps you find books. It's really not wrong to read books and flirt with girls. Chapter 417 Huang and Yi Zhang. Sakura flowers falling rain. The 7-star sword draws a beautiful arc from bottom to top, and the red light converges from the sword body to the tip of the sword, and then bursts into the sky. It bloomed like a cherry blossom, and the dense sword energy fell like raindrops. Under this kind of offensive, Luffy was unavoidable. He hadn't learned to be domineering yet, so he could only subconsciously block his arm above to avoid hurting his vitals. Flame pillar. Flames soared into the sky, protecting Luffy from above. The sword chi pierced through the flames, splitting a passage, but eventually melted into the flames when half of the fire column remained. Luffy, you go first. You can't beat the battle here, Ace said. Yeah, Ace, you must leave alive. Luffy nodded heavily. He believed in Ace's strength. Of course, leave alive together. Ace showed a confident smile. But the heart is full of dignified. Huang's strength should not be underestimated. The most important thing is that if you are dragged here, the Admiral of the Navy will come. And he will definitely be the primary target. What? Are you going to sacrifice yourself to save that straw hat boy? No, I'll knock you down and leave with him. A cruel smile appeared on Huang's face. You can't escape, you will all die. Whitebeard, you, and your partner will all die here. Use your blood to make this war more beautiful. Let's go. Meow woo, this guy Huang, is he sick? Although Carter didn't understand human beings very well, Huang's morbid pursuit of beauty was abnormal no matter how he looked at it. Don't worry if you want to see blood, just use your own. Ace stretched his legs and put on a fighting stance. Sakura cross-cut. Firefly crossfire. The blood-colored cross sword energy collided with the flame cross, and they were all annihilated in the air. Huang bowed his body and sprang out like an arrow. Fire Dharma. The dots of flames floated in the air like fireflies, blocking Huang's way forward. Huang slowed down and swung the seven-star sword. Blood Shadow. A ghost's phantom appeared on him, and the whole body was enveloped by the blood-colored aura, like a shield. Mars collided with the blood shadow, constantly consuming the red sword energy. When Huang broke through the Mars group, the sword chi shield also dissipated. Musket. Ace's hands were gun-like, and flame bullets were continuously fired. Huang had to change direction and make a detour. A pair of flaming spears condensed in Enel's hands. Fire Pistol. Ghost Cut. The sharp sword beam cut through the flame gun and cut Ace's body. Before the flames converged and condensed again, Huang rushed to Ace's side. The difficulty of condensing domineering into the intangible sword energy or natural elements is completely different from the difficulty of attaching it to a tangible thing. Consumption is also worlds apart. Although Huang can slash with domineering slashes, it just looks gorgeous, and the actual cost performance is very low. Or play an unexpected role at a critical moment. Not suitable as a main attack method. Firewall. A circle of flames surrounded Ace, trying to block the opponent's advance. Huang opened the flame with a knife, and was about to step forward, but a huge flame fist came on the face. Sakura Chikiri Valley. The sword energy is integrated, and the fire is scattered. Huang then retreated from the airwaves coming from the pavement and regained his footing. However, the distance between him and his opponent was also widened. Natural system, it's really troublesome. Huang muttered to himself. The temperature of the air is getting higher and higher, and the scorching breath is enveloped. The ground turned red and turned into billowing lava. Akainu, come after me. Don't try to escape. Roger's son, Dragon's son. He was covered in lava, full of momentum. Ace's face changed. Even if he was aflame, he still felt unbearable heat in the face of the high temperature of the magma. Big Fire Spit. When Akainu made a shot, it was a large-scale attack. Covering Huang and Icy. Cherry Blossom Cut. The sharp blade cut the incoming lava in half. Ace used the impact of the rapid expansion of the flame to disperse the magma. He's my prey, get out of the way, don't get in the way. Or I'll cut you. Huang stared at Akainu, killing intent AWE inspiring. You sinners, none of you can run away. A red liquid flowed from Akainu's face, blood mixed with magma. It looked extremely hideous. The Straw Hat is going to run away. Akainu remained silent, looking at Luffy's farther and farther back, then at Ace, and finally turned and chased after Luffy. Fire Fist Ace is not so easy to kill, it has become a climate. And looking at Akutagawa Huang's posture, it was not so easy for him to leave easily. On the other hand, Luffy, the bloodline of the same heinous crime, no, the bloodline of the dragon, is even more feared by the world government than the bloodline of Roger. Compared with Fire Fist, he is obviously easier to kill. It's also in their navy's interest to have pirates fight each other to drain their strength. It can reduce stress and reduce casualties. Luffy, be careful. Ace wanted to chase after Akainu, but was stopped by a sword. Your opponent is me, come and fight, the winner lives, the loser dies. Damn. Ace looked worriedly at Akainu who was slowly approaching Luffy, and then angrily turned his gaze to Akutagawa. You'd better not have unnecessary worries, fight with me seriously. Otherwise, maybe I will join the ranks of chasing down the Straw Hats. Fire Fist. Ace is not in the mood to say anything more. Since he can't stop, there is only one battle. Hee, that's it. Boom. Two shots interrupted them. Bullets flew past Huang's hair. Ace, you go first. I'll stop him. Huh, Izo, you are not his opponent. Ace said. Don't worry. Ace saw Izo with a determined face, and Akutagawa did not attack again. Guessing that there may be a story between the two, so I don't persuade anymore. Be careful, he dropped a sentence, then pursued Luffy. Long time no see, brother Huang, Yizo looked at Akutagawa Huang with a complicated look on his face. His hand was tightly gripping the handle of the gun, a little whitish. "A long time no see. You have also grown up and started your own adventure." Huang's face showed memories. After a pause, looking at the weapon in his hand, he continued, "Double guns. That guy Milo." A smile appeared on Huang's face, and the corners of his eyes were slightly raised. This is the purest smile that does not contain any impurities, simply smiling because of seeing old friends who haven't seen it for a long time. Yizo bit his lower lip and remained silent. "I heard that you came back to Wano country not long after I left. How is the scenery over there? Beautiful. How are the people? Beautiful. I didn't go around when I went there last time, and I saw very little." Huang asked. "Brother Huang, why do you want to do this? Want to know how the country of Wano is? Why don't you go and see for yourself? Why do you have to bring killing and war? Why do you want to kill my friends? Everyone is happy. Isn't it good to live in peace with the earth?" Quote. Yi Zhang asked aloud. Chapter 418 Different Positions. "Get along in peace." Huang let out a sneer. "Izo, you should know what I want to do, right? Restoring the family name is what our Akutagawa family has always wanted to do. Although I am not very interested in it, I have my ancestors, so I am. I accept it. Their love must be repaid for their righteousness. Therefore, restoring my family name is also one of my goals in going to sea." Quote. "Well, I know, but there's no need to make such a fuss. Your swordsmanship is among the best in the whole world, and Mistress Kazuki Oden should not refuse your request," Izo said. "Well," he agreed, "on the condition that I become his retainer. I have already planned to follow Anil, and his strength is not enough to convince me, so I changed the condition to if Wano country is in my lifetime. Or if the Guangyu family is in danger, I will do my best to help him." It was a good conversation, and I didn't intend to be too stiff, but that stinky brat from the Guangyu family dared to order me with such a bossy attitude and let me bow down. What kind of thing is he? Akutagawa Huang's eyes were full of anger, murderous intent was surging, and the blood-red aura rose, almost condensing into substance. Zhang felt the chill and strangeness coming towards him, and he felt like his scalp was numb. He seemed to see a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood, endless white bones piled up to form a high platform, and a long sword was inserted at the top of the corpse pile. In Wano Kingdom, the family name is very important to the samurai. It was the glory of their ancestors, the imprint of endless years. That is something more precious than life. If the daimyo is willing to restore the family name to the fallen samurai, it is the grace of recreation. And the samurai should swear allegiance to the death. Repay kindness with life. But Siam, unlike Wano, is not a completely closed country, but a semi-open country. After hundreds of years of communication with the outside world, ideas and concepts should also change. The samurai of Siam are different from the samurai of Wano, and Akutagawa Huang is one of the outliers. In fact, he didn't care much about things like family names, and he didn't have much pursuit of glory. He pursues beauty and higher peaks in kendo. For him, helping to restore his family name was no great favor. And he is not a lowly warrior. With his strength, he can mix well anywhere. Momonosuke self-righteously believes that he has a noble status, and also believes that his father has a great favor to Akutagawa Huang, and believes that Huang should be a retainer of the Yugong family. It was a great honor, and his refusal was an act of ignorance. Huang felt that this was an insult to himself, and of course he would not give him a good face. Firefox Kinemon saw that he dared to be disrespectful to His Royal Highness, so he drew his sword and confronted him, asking this disrespectful person to look good. As a swordsman, when someone draws a sword against him, do you still have to ask how to deal with it? One word, cut. So it fell apart. As the hometown of samurai, Wano country has a group of powerful samurai. Kazuki Oden and the General Black Charcoal Orochi are even more powerful. Huang could only fled in embarrassment and escaped from the country of Wano. This is how the hatred ends. So Akutagawa changed his attention and planned to capture Wano Kingdom. He and Kaido hit it off and planned together, but were repeatedly stopped by Whitebeard. So the Whitebeard pirates were also on Huang's blacklist. The Whitebeards themselves can't beat them, but it's more than enough to clean up their affiliated pirates. Especially when Anil and Whitebeard clashed not long ago, Akutagawa defeated several affiliated pirates in order to share the pressure for Anil. Huang never showed mercy in the face of the enemy, and there were few survivors on the ship he sunk. For the Whitebeard pirates who cherish their partners, this is an endless blood feud. This is the hatred caused by differences in values and positions. At this level, it is impossible to stop. Only fight, you die and I die. Izo took a deep breath. Akutagawa Huang had always been a person he respected, and he had never forgotten the words he said when they parted. It's always been my motto in life. But at this moment, they were standing opposite each other. Everyone has their own beliefs and positions. Even if they used to be friends, they will not change their position because of this. When they become opponents, they can only fight. Azang filled the gun with bullets, and then said, "Brother Huang, I have always admired you when I was a child. I used to regard you as my life goal. I know you are very strong, and I can't fight it at all. Yes, but I won't back down. Ace is my brother and will never let you hurt him. I want to go there, unless I step on my corpse." With a resolute look on his hidden face, the tragic and generous feelings of sacrifice are set off by his soft appearance, showing a kind of beauty and sadness of cherry blossoms withering. "You've grown up." Akutagawa Huang's eyes returned to his indifferent look again, as if what he saw was not a living life, but a dead thing. The overwhelming killing intent rushed towards Yi Zhang, almost suffocating him. His already pale face was bloodless. "Get out of the way, you'll die." Izo bit his lip, biting out blood. Using pain to dispel the tremors and chills of his body, he said stubbornly, "Don't persuade me, I won't let it go. It's okay, let's do it. Anyway, I should be beautiful now. I die beautifully for my brother. No regrets. It should be extremely beautiful." "That's fine." Huang was silent for a long time, and did not attack, sighed indistinctly, and slowly retracted the knife. "Forget it, I've had enough, let's go. Hurry up, I won't be merciful next time." Yi Zhang was silent for a moment, then shouted, "Thank you." Then he ran outside the square. The seven-star sword trembled with a dong dong, as if expressing its dissatisfaction. It thirsts for blood, it thirsts to kill. A sharp sword, the sword of Shira, there is no need to close it. "Quiet," Huang shouted in a low voice. The seven-star sword immediately lost its voice. "This master is not easy to mess with, it is cowardly. Akainu is chasing after Luffy. Pirates have no future. You can't escape, just die for me." Big fire. Second gear. Luffy turned on the second gear, but not to fight, but to escape. Even so, he was in danger. The difference is too big. Akainu is not a powerful enemy he can deal with now. The high temperature of thousands of degrees combined with the impact of the eruption of the volcanic bomb, even if it rubbed against it, it could seriously injure him. It's the Straw Hat Boy is in danger. Ivankov floated in the air on the hot wind generated by the explosion. "Luffy brother." Jinbei also approached him, intending to support. Chapter 419 The Decision of the Times, Newgate and Ski. Luffy's injuries in the Advanced City have not yet healed, and he was heavily targeted by the Navy on the battlefield and suffered serious injuries. The injury added to the injury, so that his physical strength will almost reach the limit. The state of the second gear was soon forced to be lifted and could no longer be maintained. "Don't be struggling, let me free you." When Luffy was about to be overtaken by Akainu, Ace finally arrived. Big fire. Fire punch. The two collided, and Ace fell to the ground crying while clutching his arms. What Ace has is just ordinary fire, which cannot be compared with magma. "Ace," Luffy hurriedly hugged Ace. Death wink. Mermaid karate washa junchen. Jinbei and Ivankov temporarily blocked Akainu, breaking up his upper body. "Brother Luffy, Ace, Leave. Straw Hat Boy, take Ace away. Thanks Jinbei, Ivan. Dad, Ace is rescued. Retreat. Marco yelled at Whitebeard. Dad, you and Ace retreat first, we will come to the rear. Said Diamond Yoja. Everyone knows what the Queen means, even if many high-end combat powers of the Navy headquarters are entangled with Ski and the Enel pirates. But the three generals that came out of nowhere were huge threats. The people behind the palace basically have no chance of surviving. But George still said the same thing. He has no hesitation for the sake of his father and his friends. He is willing to give up his life, and the members of the 3rd Division under his command are also willing to die with their captain. They have no complaints and no regrets as long as a man's life is wonderful, it is enough. What's wrong with risking your life for your partner? Boom 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 boom. There was a huge roar, and Skeward drove the outer wheel on a rampage. Bastard Joes, the job at the rear should let me, a sinner who doubts my father, come here. Even if I can't atone for my sins, it will make me feel at ease. Bring Ace, you can run away. Leave it to me here. That idiot, Joes cursed. Suddenly, the outer wheel number stopped. Daddy. Idiot son dying in front of me is the greatest disobedience. Live well, don't be self-righteous, even if you hit me with that sword, it won't have any effect on me. I'm a Whitebeard. The purpose of coming here has been achieved, we don't need to stay here anymore. I will now issue the final captain's order. Listen, Whitebeard pirates. You and I say goodbye everyone. Be sure to back to the new world alive. I am a remnant of the era in the new era, there is no ship I ride on. Whitebeard bent his arms, his muscles bulging. Rumbling. The earth shook, and a huge gulf separated the pirates and the navy. He was left alone, facing the navy alone. It happens, many old friends are here, let us, the old guys from the previous era, leave the last figure here, let you pay attention. Gu la 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 la. Whitebeard laughed arrogantly. Compared with the frailty in the original book, he was not severely injured at this time, and he was a little less sad, but the heroism of Yi Shuihan was even better. Like a samurai who launched a charge against thousands of troops, there was no hesitation, no remorse, only free and easy and heroic. He is Whitebeard. Let's go, little ones, is my white-bearded son, live happily ever after. No, Dad. Uncle. Luffy looked surprised. Dad, Ace was silent. Let's go, it's Dad's order. Go. Don't look back. Let's go, sons, times are about to change dramatically, let's face the new era with a smile. I've been traveling for a long time, the scenery, and I've seen enough. But you are different, you are still young, and there are countless wonderful things waiting for you in this world. Congenial partners, dazzling treasures, magnificent nature, countless unknowns are waiting for you to explore. So don't die. Forgive me, I can't accompany you to the end. What I can do is to try my best to stop these powerful enemies who are trying to take away your future, keep chasing after you, and stop them here. Whitebeard's eyes widened, his eyes as sharp as a blade made people shudder. Come and make a break. Navy. With the roar of Whitebeard, the earthquake continued, and the entire Malenford shook, but the side where the pirates were located had no effect at all. He was escorting his sons to escape. How dangerous is Marineford? That bastard, does he really want to destroy this island? Sengoku is full of cold sweat. Does he want to die with this island? Gia ha 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 ha, Whitebeard, you are going to do the same in the end. It's rare that we have the same idea. The Golden Lion said with a big laugh. It really bothers me to think about going with your kid. HMPH, you're still so annoying, but this time, we'll let go of the unpleasant things in the past, and let's turn this place upside down. Gu la 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 la, just what I want. It's time to end the era, it's also time. Carp looked grim. Ski, Newgate, do you want to make a conclusion? Rayleigh clenched his long sword, took a last look at Shachi, who was looking at him, and said, Don't worry, I'm just here to see an old friend, but I never thought about keeping this old bone. After all, he is also a man with a family. How can he accompany these two single dogs? HMPH, since you're here, I can't let you slip away like this. Zephyr clenched his fists. Straw Hat Boy, hurry up, Akainu is chasing after him. Ivankov reminded. Let's go. Ace Uncle's decision. I understand. I won't let Dad's efforts go to waste. He knelt down and kowtowed heavily to the Whitebeard. Ace, my dad, is it enough? Whitebeard asked. Of course. Ace replied in tears. Is Whitebeard's father enough? This is beyond doubt. He is the most responsible dad in the op world. Compared to Roger's kind of guy who leaves his son to the Nemesis Navy to raise, Long is so mysterious that Luffy thinks he doesn't have a father. Whitebeard, he can be called the most competent father. Gu la 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 la, gu la 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 la. Whitebeard laughed and was loved, respected, and recognized by his sons. For him, this was the best answer. Cut tilde, Shiji snorted coldly, a trace of imperceptible envy flashed in his eyes. Chapter 420 and over. Run to the beach, Brother Ace, Brother Luffy, their goal is you. One more life is won, this is Dad's wish, don't let him down, Jinbei urged. HMPH, what a bunch of idiots, do you think you can really run away? It's so naive. The huge lava fist disperses the pirates in an instant, turning all the obstacles on his road to ashes in a destructive way. As soon as Ace was rescued, he ran away with his tail between his tails. What a bunch of cowards. The Whitebeard pirates. The captain is incompetent after all, he was just a loser of the previous era. He lost to Roger, your real father. Akainu saw that Ace and Luffy were running so fast that it was not so easy to catch up, so he decisively turned on the mouth gun mode. He is not shallow in terms of skills, first beguiling Skeward to attack Whitebeard, and then using his mouth to provoke Ace's anger. In the original book, his record in the war is a small part of the credit of his mouth. Come on, don't listen to other people's nonsense, Ace. Whitebeard has been paying attention to the movement in this regard. Carp was also concerned about the safety of his two grandsons, and was a little distracted when dealing with Whitebeard, and subconsciously did not exert all his strength. He was knocked back by Whitebeard's punch. Run forward, don't look back, no matter what others say, let them say it. If you care so much about what others think of you, won't you be very tired? I am who I am, Whitebeard. My actions won't change because of what other people think of me as my proud son, don't lose face. Go your own way. Ace wanted to stop and fight Akainu, but Whitebeard's words changed his mind. He has regretted it because he didn't follow Whitebeard's advice in the case of Titch, which led to the current situation. So at this moment, no matter how much he wants to make Akainu look good, he doesn't want to go against the words of his beloved father. A momentary impulse, sometimes it may not only be himself who pays the price for this. And those friends who care about him. Cut tilde, the old man in the way. Akainu could only continue to chase. Almost to the beach. The ship is ahead. Get on the boat, you can leave. Let's work harder. Roar. A huge roar resounded through the heavens and the earth. The sky was pitch black, and thick black smoke billowed from Enel. The black clouds rolled, the gloomy wind burst, and the lightning pierced the sky, frantically ravaging the earth. In the blink of an eye, there seems to be some terrifying creature flying in the sky. Enel's arm turned into dragon claws, his muscles bulged, his skin enlarged, and black scales appeared. The dragon's tail quickly grew thicker and longer, and the jet-black wings carried an aura of ominousness and death. Roar! He roared recklessly in the sky, and the huge black dragon rushed out of the darkness, accompanied by the darkness, and a long black line was drawn on his tail. The iron-like dragon scales, the sharp claws, and the sharp white teeth are frightening. Wow! Boom! With a scream, a figure was knocked down from the sky. That was Zero, and he finally didn't have the energy to deliberately cover up his appearance after being hit hard. The blonde hair was stained with blood, the white clothes were torn open several times, and the wounds were dripping with blood. These were all minor injuries, the really serious one being that his left arm had been severed by the root. He clutched his left shoulder and wailed in pain. What's going on? What's going on? Why does my ability suddenly fail? His face was full of disbelief. In fact, Enel's combat power at the moment can't be said to be strong. If the resilience is not counted, he and the general will be pressed and beaten, but the amazing resilience gives him and the general the possibility of exhaustion. In addition, he is good at hiding himself. Take advantage of others' ignorance of yourself and catch them off guard. Garp was wounded by Enel after a mistake in battle, and so did Zero. Enel has been hiding the dark water, making Zero gradually think that he has understood Enel. When his vigilance gradually decreased, Enel suddenly grabbed him with dark water, and then bit his arm. Teeth have always been where Enel has the highest attack power. Anything that takes a bite will have a few more teeth marks. In addition, Zero was a little panicked because of the loss of his ability, and it was normal for such a slender arm to be bitten off. What's that? As the black coffin Enel. That's a dragon. Suddenly seeing this legendary phantom beast, both the Navy and the pirates were shocked. So far, there are not many people who have really seen Enel's complete animalization state, except for the members of his pirate group and Shaki, only Marco and Whitebeard. The rest of the Navy's upper echelons, as well as Doflamingo, had some speculation about his abilities, but they were never completely sure. Dragon. Ivankov was startled. What an astonishing ability. Jinbei looked at Enel with cold sweat on his face. It's terrifying. Kazuna casually. Another troublesome guy. Akainu snorted coldly. Gu la 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 la, that kid is really flamboyant. Whitebeard laughed. After being slightly surprised by Enel's ability, Doflamingo turned his attention to the figure who was beaten down by Enel. Huh, he had a surprised look on his face. How is it you? Damn exposed. Zero looked at Brother Doflamingo with a fierce look in his eyes. Really embarrassed. You want to kill me? Brother Doflamingo felt Zero killing intent. If you say you are still intact, there is still a little possibility, but now it seems that can't you? Brother Doflamingo's strength is not weak. Even if the general pursues him with all his strength, it is difficult to kill him if he wants to run. During this period of time, if a hunt is unsuccessful, he may use the phone bug to tell the secret he knows and spread to the world. Therefore, the Tianlong people are afraid of him, and they want to deal with him quickly, but they never dare to really do it. Lahahaha, I'm really embarrassed. Dover, do you want to come back? Zero asked. Huh. Brother Ming frowned. Back to Mary Joa. Brother Ming remained silent. What's the matter? Isn't this what you've always wanted? Are you sure you will let me go back? Lahahaha, Dover, there are more secrets of the Tianlong people than you think. What you don't know is far more than you know. Among the Tianlong people, there is also a need for excellent talents. Maintain the high status of the entire Tianlong people. You are very good. I think there are many people who don't mind you going back. I'm almost moved by what I said. Doflamingo said with a wicked smile.